wake up, save me.
Is that just going to be how we start our streams from now on, ever since that guy changed his noise? Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Mukluk Streams. I'm your charming, self-proclaimed, yet still humble host, Mukluk. Today is Guild Wars Tuesday. We are back in the wonderful world of Guild Wars 2, which is Syria, by the way. Did you know that? Hello there. Welcome, welcome. You too can sign up for Patreon and play really, really weird sounds if you want to during the stream. Hope you guys are having a good morning so far. I'm almost woken up. I'm getting there. We are back in it. I think, wait, am I on the right server? Hold on. Usually I play on EU and I play it this time. Yes, okay. I am on EU. We're EUing. Good afternoon, Muckapipos. What's up, Smashy? I just finished work. Can't imagine just starting now. Yeah. Well, my work's at least pretty fun. It's all right, you know? At Muck, only until October, I already have my spooky season sound picked out. Do I still have that spooky button? Hang on, I'm gonna see if this works.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, yeah, it still works. So my spooky button's still working. I don't know about your spooky button. So it's good to know that I've still got that locked and loaded. I wasn't sure if that would... I haven't tried that in like 6 months, so I wasn't sure if anything had broken in that time. Consider me spooked. Send shivers down your spine. Alright, let's see. We didn't play past reset yesterday, so I should have all that sweet, sweet money on the ground to pick up. Let's go check. Missed you trying Antiquary. A theme aside, did you like the mechanics? No. I tried Power and I tried Condi, and I did not care for either. I did not. So both mechanically and lore-wise, I was like, why does this exist? Did you finish the festival weekly? I have no idea. I haven't really looked at that. Probably not. Hey, Muck, first time on stream. Thanks to the YouTube videos. You're welcome. Thanks for watching them. I watched your Stranded Alien Dawn playthrough. I wish they updated the game more, so there's more to do. True. To be fair, though, I got a lot of fun playtime out of that game before I set it down. Hang on a sec. Stranded Alien Dawn. I have 264 hours in it. That was absolutely worth its price tag for me. But yeah, Stranded Alien Dawn, great game. If they did another DLC, I would absolutely dive back into it and try it out. Pretty sure Mug hasn't even finished the festival annual achievement. Yeah, like, I've beaten Guild Wars 2. So, the festivals, I really just kind of notify people that they're back and then kind of ignore them. Because, like, there's nothing I need. Unless they come out with with like a graphic or something, like just some cosmetic that I really want. Usually, though, I'm just like, hey, everyone, the festival's back, and then I just ignore it. Soak Song is coming. It is, yes. How long will the extended drops last? Was it the 29th? Hang on a second. I can get you an exact date. Give me a moment. Drops Guild Wars 2. And here we go. August 30th morning. Okay, so the night... So Friday night. This Friday, super late at night, / Saturday morning. That's when. Alright. Anyone know why ANET are giving the same drops as a few weeks ago? Okay, so they did drops last month, July. And then they were like, you know what? We're going to do them again for the beta. They don't usually do drops twice in a 2-month period, but they did them again, and they did say they were going to do the same ones again. So it's like, okay, their choices were probably either don't do drops again or just redo the same as last time. And they chose redo the same as last time. So they were like, okay, we're going to do the same drops campaign 2 times in about a month. Fine, sure. Okay, the people that missed the first one will get them on the second one. But then the beta crashed out, and the drops campaign no longer lined up with the beta campaign. So I'm guessing then they restarted the drops a 3rd time, just because they wanted drops to be happening at the same time as the beta. And here we are. But yeah, if you didn't already look at them, it's the same as the last one with the Ritualist outfit and the glasses and the hiss emote. If you already have those, then you've already got them. Samuel says, John Internet, I should invent a network for people to find new things to complain about. What would I call it? Blue Sky. Call it Blue Sky. It's the same as Twitter. It's just different people. I can't wait for the festival to be completed so that Ectos... So that Ectos... wait, what? Where was it? Go back to big 2030 silver. That cheap? Muck, which new elite specs are boon healers? Paragon, Luminary, Ritualist, Troubadour, and that's it. Evoker has some of the boons, but is missing some of the boons. Conduit is missing some of the key boons. None of the medium armors are even supports at all. Yeah, so I think 4 of them. Troubadour, Ritualist, Paragon, Luminary. How much volatile magic you have? 1 million. We're back up to 1 million since we made that video where I processed 1 million of it. Druid cries the corner. There's nothing for Druid to cry about. He asked about the new elite specs. I wasn't listing all of them. Alright, main guild hall. Morning, Mug Blue Chat. Hi, Tacomas. Let's process again then. 1 million vaults magic to gold. I mean, it would... I should let it get higher. It'd be the same video as last time. I think it turned into 2,000 gold last time I did that. What is that inventory? It's got plenty of room. Shush. Sorry for the random question. How dare you? I tried Paragon. I'm looking for a content creator who does warrior to learn the most about the class. Is that you, or is there someone else you could point me to? Yeah, I can point you to a few. First of all, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you just want a super solid build for like end game content, snowcrows.com is very good for that. So, hang on a second. So, if I open this up, and here's snowcrows.com. Alright, and then you just go to raid builds, and you just go to warrior, and go here, and there's Heal Alacrity Paragon. Use an ad blocker on this website. Jesus. The next thing is this guy. He complains a lot, but he's kind of funny. Captain Crapface on YouTube makes mostly warrior content. He has a lot of warrior-related videos in here if you are interested in that. There's other websites as well. Guild Gen, Meta Battle, Hardstuck.gg that have just, you know, tons of builds of all types that may have what you're looking for. I think Valen might be starting to make some content again. I saw his stuff pop up on my feed the other day. I always regret Captain Crapface. You regret him? Let's see, matter converter.
Hey, look, it's the Tree of Birds. How are you today?
Hi, Berger. Let's see. Process all this. Okay, there we go. Alright. I'll say Muck Luminary is an awesome healer, and I can essentially keep a person up just by mashing the 1 in Shroud. Wait, what? Okay, I'm confused. I do think Luminary's a good healer. I played it the other day, but the 1 button in Shroud does some boons. What are you talking about? I don't remember the 1 in Shroud doing healing. Hold on a second. Muck what? Alright, hold on. I'm making a character just to see what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, it doesn't heal. With the staff, it does healing? No, with the staff, it applies 2 seconds of regen. Regen, 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 regen. There's no direct healing on this. No. Like, if they've got regen already, then doing that doesn't do anything. Okay. Delete. Okay. Anyway, unless you've got a trait or something that you're triggering. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a weird shape for your character. It doesn't matter. Hi, Muck. I really appreciate your I Tried series. Thank you. Hands down the best resource. Helped me decide what profession to play when I returned after a 3-year break. Hey, I am glad you enjoy my stuff. Thank you for the kind feedback. What if Bram becomes a Luminary in VOE and he will have Scepter main weapon and the sound of spamming Scepter auto will be super boosted? Honestly, I think the most annoying Scepter auto is Spectre. Because, like, you'll be in town and then some Spectre is just like thump, 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 thump. And it just sounds like styrofoam blocks are getting thrown at the side of your head. Like, I think they win the award for most annoying Scepter sounds. Let's see. Burp, 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 burp. So far? Yeah, so far. Oh no, wrong button. If you hit the wrong button twice in a row, this thing explodes and launches you off the cliff. Like, how many guild halls can you farm per day? 5 at maximum. But they all have to have different levels of the upgrade synthesis output. So there's synthesis output 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's 5 levels total, counting the one that, you know, is 0 with no upgrades at all. And if you've got, you know, 5 guild halls that are all different levels of that upgrade, you can farm them all. But if you're in 2 guilds that have the same level of synthesis output, like if they're both max, then you can only farm one of them. Hey, Mugger Chad. Hi, Valmar. Alright, that one's done. I love it when people get proven wrong. Oh, I mean, I wasn't trying to make Mahuyo look bad or anything like that. I was just trying to make a correction. Is like, I just played Luminary the other day, and I was like, I have no memory of that working the way that you described. So, unless there's a trait that affects the Shroud 1 somewhere, and I just didn't realize it, it doesn't work the way that they thought. If Scepter sounds annoying, just attack them back with Dreamer Shortbow. Or Quip. I think Dreamer's worse than Quip, though. There's a few other noises that are kind of funny that could be annoying to some people. Like the Super Adventure Box Warhorn. Where you're like, doo-doo-doo-doo. Like, that one's good. Druid Staff on autocast could be pretty annoying. True. The thing is, Staff 1 auto on Druid is very, very weak. So people aren't usually bothering to target their allies to heal them with the staff. Usually you just target the boss and then, you know, it heals anyone it passes through, but it just heals for a couple of hundred. So it's not as strong as the Spectre Scepter to the point where you want to actually, like, swap targets to your allies. So that's why you don't usually hear it that much in town unless someone's really just trolling you. But you could heal 1200 range. Yeah, you could heal for 100 at like 1200 range. Like, it's just, if they're 1200 range, they need a heal. Staff 1 auto is usually not the thing that's going to save their life. It's just a filler thing in between other stuff. The beam looks cool. The beam does look cool. Muck, would you ever make an update on your raid introduction video now that they changed banners and spirits? Maybe. I mean, it feels kind of lame to like re-record that entire video just to not say the words banners or spirits. But if there was anything else in it that needed to be pointed out, maybe. Is Overflowing Thirst always better to use with Dagger over Ritual Life on Heal Scourge? I don't think always, no. It is an option. Obviously with Ritual of Life, you're better at saving lives that go downstate, but with Overflowing Thirst, you have another tool to heal people if you felt like you didn't have enough before. So it's like another option. One thing you can do is take a Necro into the testing room, turn on the damage field, let yourself get to like half health, and activate Overflowing Thirst, and then, you know, trigger it, and then see like how much it heals for, and then be like, okay, do I want to have access to this, you know, anytime dagger skills are available, or do I want to have access to the revive downstate people a lot faster, more often? Let's see. Muck, what is your favorite soup, IRL and in-game? I don't have a favorite soup in-game. IRL? When you go to get hibachi, there's this onion soup that they serve you at the beginning. I really like that. Put a little bit of soy sauce in it. It's really good. That might be my favorite soup. You know what? I could check the dagger thing, because like I'm not working on anything else right now. Let's see. I'll go on this guy. This dawn I finished the Path of Fire expansion main story. Holy, I enjoyed the story so much. Nice. Is this it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. Adjust environment and turn on moderately threatening damage and spawn a golem. All right. So the trait the person asked about was Overflowing Thirst, which is when you use dagger skills, your whole group gets a stack of a buff called Taste for Blood. And when you hit an enemy while Taste for Blood's active, you life siphon them, which does a bit of damage and gives you a bit of healing. So, the question is this worth taking over the other thing? So if I go in here, and... Okay. Alright, so I just triggered it twice. I'm about to die here. I'm gonna move away. So let's look at the log now. Alright, so... Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. So Taste for Blood, when it triggered, I'm going to turn off my camera. Taste for Blood hit the enemy for 446 damage, and it healed me for 561. So, and it triggers whenever you use a dagger skill. Now currently I'm using Dagger, Warhorn, and Staff, which means this is only going to proc when I use Dagger 2 or Dagger 3. So on an 8-second cooldown and on a 12-second cooldown, if I have this weapon set out, because I'm swapping weapon sets, I will trigger that to trigger. For me personally, as someone who pugs a lot, I would prefer to take Ritual of Life. However, it is worth remembering that Taste for Blood affects the whole party, not just you. So let's say 5 people trigger this twice every about 10 seconds. You're looking at, 2,500 damage and 2,500 healing every 10 seconds. Which is close to 250 healing and damage per second total. Which is divided among 5 people. So it is great. It is a little bit more damage. It is a little bit more healing. And as long as people are not dead on the ground, this is going to be better. But if they are down on the ground, this is just, so good at helping get them up. So I would pick Ritual of Life. Like, this helps a little all the time. This helps a lot in key moments. So that's basically your selection. And there's not really a wrong answer. It's just which one do you want to take. You could even swap. You could have this be your standard. And then, like, if you're in a group that's a pug and you think that it's getting kind of rough, you could swap. And you don't have to do anything different as far as playstyle. Captain Crapface says, have you already subjected yourself to Paragon? Yo, I recommended you just a few minutes ago, Crapface. There's someone else who will be watching your videos about how amazing and perfect the warrior class is very soon. He says, have you already subjected yourself to Paragon? If not, do you plan to? I did actually. I have now tried, camera's still off, thank you. I have now tried every single support in I've tried at least one build on every single class in the beta. And that includes the Paragon. On the Paragon, I did not test a damage build or the DPS boon build. I only tested the heal alack build. I think it wins. I think it was the only build that I could go into an extreme damage field and basically ignore it. And I was in Harrier gear, which is glassy, and I was not even using my emergency healing buttons. I was able to pump out lots of healing, all the essential boons. I had stability on demand. I had Aegis on demand. It was really, really nice. However, it did do very, very, very low damage even compared to other supports. I was doing like less than 2k DPS, but still, yeah, it was really good. Let's see, add boons, utility, quick, and so it was, let's see, I gotta remember how to do it here. Hang on. This is like da 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 da, and then doot, and whoops again, and get that going, and get that, and do that, and do that, and that, and then that, get the refrain going. I'm pretty sure the opener I did was terrible, however, we do have everything rolling now. If you look at those juicy, juicy boons, and we're pumping out the healing and everything, yeah. So, yeah, there we go. Look at that, amazing. And we've still got like Aegis on demand. We've got Barrier on demand. We've got all the boons. We've got some major healing skills that are available and off cooldown. You could choose to have the Paragon Elite, where you make everyone invulnerable for a few seconds, or you can choose the Warrior Elite, where you just banner res people if they go down. It's 19k health. It is really, really nice. It's really, really nice. Let's see. That's the fatal flaw of Paragon. Even Guild Wars 1, it had some very competent damage builds. The one imposter on character select, yeah. Is that a Bloodshot module for the cool text when you load to a zone? Yeah, Regions of Tyria. If I can put a link to it in the chat if you want it. I think you forgot the damage field. I wasn't really trying to show the damage field. I was just trying to show the boons. But yeah, the healing output is absurd with this as well. I like how there's that one human engineer among all the Asura that have different colored hats. Mm-hmm. Hey, Muk, 2 questions. What are your general thoughts on Luminary at the moment? It's good. Second, if I want to build a support build for raids, should I look into Guardian, Mesmer, or Rev? There are... Okay, for Guardian, the most popular support build would be Firebrand. There is also a support build for Willbender, but I'd say the Firebrand one's more popular. For Revenant, the most popular one is Herald. There is a support build for Vindicator, and Vindicator 1 is rather new. So there's, it's a newer thing. There is one for Renegade that I would say is less popular than Herald. Mesmer, there is support Chrono and support Mirage. I believe that in the most recent patch, support Mirage had some changes to it that a lot of people don't like, but I haven't tried them out, so I don't really have an opinion on it. But support Chrono has been incredible for a long time, so that's still fine. Hey, Mike, how many hours do you have in Guild Wars 2? 9,000. So we end our criticism at green number big and ignoring all the cancer under the hood. I guess that's one way to be happy. Green number big? No. That is not what I said, sir. I said it has excellent boon uptime of all the essential boons. It has access to stability on demand. It has access to Aegis on demand. It has really good healing output. It will still have leftover healing skills for emergencies to stabilize people when things get hairy. You're not having all your heal skills on cooldown all the time. You've got 2 utility flex slots that you can change for other things if needed. You can choose to bring the revive standard or the make your group invulnerable ability over there. It is really tanky despite using hairier gear because of things like unyielding resolve. Like, having tried every class during the beta, this has got the most complete support kit. Like, my top 4 choices right now are Paragon, then Ritualist, then Troubadour, and then Luminary, I think. But, like, for example, Evoker doesn't even have Aegis. To give it stability, you have to give up other boons. Like, this one doesn't have to make that choice. It's got all of it. Chad, he doesn't know. Ah, man, you're just looking for a reason to be negative. You're just looking for a reason to be negative. Anyway, yeah, I took this to some content. It performed extremely well. And, you know, is it perfect? No. But is it better than a lot of the alternatives? Oh, God, yes, it is. It is a lot better than many of the alternatives. Can't work without staff. Who cares? All of the warrior supports use staff. Muck, what do you recommend for low intensity starting support? Heal Bender or Heal Mech are really easy to pick up. Heal Scourge has a lot of button pressing, but is easy to learn as well. Because a lot of it's like pressing the same buttons. Is Amalgam an everything situation? Amalgam is damage. Amalgam is just, I do damage, bonk bonk. So yeah, it's very good at that. It's too good. Like right now, Amalgam is doing absolutely bonkers amount of damage. Let me see if I can find the video from last night. I feel like you're not really gonna get this if I don't show you a vid on this. Give me a minute. Okay, I got
7.
it. I got it. Okay, here. Alright, this is 10 Amalgams versus the Twin Bear Strike bosses in Icebird Saga. Sorry, this is 8 Amalgams and 2 Scrappers. Don't blink. This is 8 Amalgams. This is 2 Strike bosses next to each other. And they're dead. And their damage per second is 188k, 188k, 179k, 177k, 176k, 173k, 173k, 166k, and 2 Scrappers for quickness. Alright? So, all the people that are like, oh, don't nerf Amalgam, just buff everyone else to match it. You're stupid. This is what the game would be. Alright? So, Amalgam is a pure DPS. It is fun. It has cool mechanics. It's completely broken right now. They need to tone it down. Now, it is worth mentioning, like, this is cleave damage. They were hitting 2 targets, so they were doing, like, 90 to 100k per target. Only. So, yeah, it's completely broken right now, and the numbers will probably be nerfed into the ground before it goes live. Poor Evoker has to lose a feeling in a hand after rotation to do 30k. Yeah. Yep. Ooze Gaming, that's right. Cap says 95% of what Paragon has is done by Core Warrior running 2 trait lines. We got a lack generation and a 10% healing buff disguised as an elite spec. It also has the chance to do the pulsing healing around them at all times. And the chants help with the Might Fury. I mean, dude, honestly, you could say that about Luminary. Like, most of what Luminary has is Core Guardian, right? But, you know, and then you could say that about Evoker. Most of what Evoker has is Core Elementalist. The problem is Core Elementalist sucks compared to Core Guardian or Core Warrior. Like, like, Core LE doesn't have an Aegis button in the, in the utilities. Like, there isn't one down here. It doesn't have a stability button down here either. Warrior has them. Warrior has a better utilities to choose from, so it complements it better. The fact is, my neighbor's mowing their lawn. The fact is that the Paragon healer, to me, you know, I'm not a warrior main, but I have tried all the warrior support builds. The Paragon healer feels better to play than any other version of warrior support I have ever played in Guild Wars 2. And I do like that. Now, if you say you're not happy with it because it's not what you wanted, that's fair feedback. That's me with Gale Shot, right? I do not like Gale Shot because we already had an archer. They just, instead of buffing or fixing that archer, they made another archer, so I didn't get a new elite spec. That's how I feel about it. So it's fair feedback if you don't like the Paragon, but I do think it's the best version of support warrior that's ever existed in this game. Guard mains hate Luminary with a burning passion. I mean, I posted my feedback on the forums. Some people didn't like the Luminary. I don't think it's all of them. I saw the post. Can I get the link for that video? Oh, the one with the amalgams? Yeah, sure. There you go. Have you tried Conduit? Yeah, I did. I got really bored. It didn't really feel like I was playing a new thing. It kind of just felt like I was playing base rev. My feedback on Conduit on their forum, I almost didn't post anything because I was like, I'm not really sure how to say this, and usually if I say this sucks, I want to say here's how to fix it. This one, I don't even know what to do. I was just really bored playing this. So, you know, maybe some other revs will have something. Let's see. Speaking of, what else they post? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. What would you say? What would you say the difference? As a heal berserker main, it does have slightly a higher banner. Sure, but it adds nothing else. Berserker has pure DPS traits, whereas Paragon is supposed to be a pure support. Berserker, I feel really weird playing Berserker. So Berserker, you're constantly doing like, I'm angry, smash! But the thing is, you're a support, so your smash does like, you know, hardly any damage. So, like, the whole fundamental way of playing Berserker, it feels like I'm hitting buttons just to trigger burst traits, and the bursts themselves don't matter. Whereas for the Paragon, like, the chants, like, they do matter. Like, you want to keep those chants rolling, because they're doing a lot of healing output. So, I mean, just the chants alone are a pretty big change from Berserker. In my opinion. As a rev main, I feel the same way about Conduit that you do about Gale Shot. The thing is, Conduit, like, I like it from a lore perspective. Like, bringing Raza back, that's pretty nice, but the, like, gameplay, I found really dull. The Luminary, what did I say for Luminary? Luminary, there was a couple traits that were broken. It did feel good to play, except the Luminary Shroud, it's not a shroud, name it something else. There was the broken trait, the lamp that's behind you, there's not enough interaction with the lamp. It could just not be there and you wouldn't even notice. So they could do something with the lamp, you know, more than they have. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is built on the top of the fact that Core Guardian is really freaking good. If it was a different class, it wouldn't work out. Let's see if anyone's doing this. Chance matter, says Muku never used F4. Well, I said chance plural, meaning at least two of them. Yeah, the F2 chant and the F3 chant I was using nonstop. The F4 chant I never needed to use. That's right, that was feedback I gave as well. I was like, the F4 chant feels like it doesn't matter. The motivation system was, I always had it maxed out with the rotation I was doing, so that felt like it didn't matter either. So if motivation wasn't there and the F4 wasn't there, I wouldn't have noticed. But the other stuff I really liked. Seems someone didn't realize Zerker doesn't need to go berserk to heal anymore, so it's much more chill. You're right, I didn't realize that. The last time I played Heal Berserker was quite a long time ago. I didn't know that. I will say the concept of playing a Berserker that doesn't berserk sounds stupid as hell. But I haven't played it recently. But if I'm just comparing what specifically Berserker has, like its utilities and its traits and its class mechanic to what Paragon brings, I mean, it seems like Paragon would be the better one for a support choice. It's so much easier to play without Berserk spam. Yeah, I mean, last time I played Berserker, I was having to hit like F1 as every other click, and I hated it. It was very carpal tunnel-y. You're like 1 F1, 2 F1, 3 F1, 4 F1, F1, F1. It was just constant. I like seeing the bugs like the on your knees shout, lacking animations, or elite having 2 different bugs that punish you for using it the intended way, which spoils the fun. I don't think I used that skill, the on your knees chant, or shout, or whatever it is. I don't think I used that during my testing, so I didn't see that one. My damage with Power Troubadour was less than 5k. I fall asleep after 2 seconds. 5k Power Troubadour? I'm sure you can get more than that. I only tested Troubadour as heal alack. And it was solid. I don't know if it's going to, how well it's going to compete with Chrono, but it was definitely solid. I was surprised at the amount of barrier generation it had. Like, after we finished Bone Skinner, and I was, like, looking at the logs, like, in addition to having a bit of damage and, like, 7k HPS, I was also doing, like, 3k BPS, like, 3k barrier per second on the party. Granted, that's divided among 5 people, but still, I was surprised it was that much, because it was just like, when you do Crescendo, you do a massive amount of barrier application, and then you got some barrier on your rifle as well, if you're using that, which you would be a support. And so it's not like consistent small barriers, like Mech or Scourge or Spectre, but it's just like huge barriers every 10 to 20 seconds. Any tier list gameplay, not damage heal, for beta and elites. I don't have a tier list for them, no. That's what drew me to Berserker, the lingering carpal tunnel. Paragon is 5% higher healing per second because 95% of warrior support is 2 core trait lines, so technically Paragon is a better healer. I would have thought that it was better because of the chant. The F3? The F2 chant helps with boons. The F3 chant keeps the healing just pumping out from you just constantly. Sometimes barrier as well. Like, that one was doing a lot of healing output. Troubadour feels the same as Chrono in terms of gameplay, and I'm let down with it as a Mesmer main, as you are with Gillshot. I'm playing Heal Chrono for months, and just feel like I'm not playing anything new. True. The fact that the Bard basically uses the Shatter system, I do think it is a shame. And that was some of the feedback I gave them when I gave them feedback on Troubadour. Is I said, right here, as a support, I greatly enjoyed playing this class, but it did not feel like a Bard. I have a proposed solution for this. The noise of the instruments is completely drowned out by shatter noises. Also, it is attached to the effects volume, so it will always be drowned out by others in combat. Remove the shatter SFX, or lower the volume of the shatter SFX, or raise the volume of the instruments, or move the shatter SFX off the instruments completely and have it only on crescendo, or have a separate volume slider for Troubadour instruments entirely. You may also want to have all Troubadour instruments synced server-side, so if you have multiple in an area, you can choose to have the volume loud enough to hear them, and it'll be synced up and not just be a cacophony of noise. So, like, there's a whole, like, this is just, like, for vibe of the class, right? This is just, like, a list of things that might be nice for making the class feel like an actual bard and not just another mesmer. This has nothing to do with, like, the mechanics or anything. Now, whether they do that, I don't know. I had some other feedback in here as well, but that was, like, just vibe. Because it does feel like you're just playing another mesmer. Is support skirt still good? Yeah, it's still good. It's a little bit different than it was a year ago, but yeah, it's still solid for sure. I'd love the offensive chant to do more than for great justice. If you aren't cycling for alacrity, using it feels a little useless. Yeah, I was using, like, anytime it would come available, I would hit F2 briefly for, like, just the first step of the chant, then I'd swap back to F3. So F3 was always the one that was doing the lingering thing. And the F4 was, like, swiftness. Like, the F4 could be completely remade because, like, I never needed it a single time when we did all the strikes. Gale Shot made me switch to Necro. I don't like the third weapon. Ranger's still not a range PvP state. I thought Troubadour was going to be more like Rev Herald, where you play a song or instrument and it keeps pulsing out boons or something. I did enjoy any time that I needed to CC something, I could scream, "Here come the drums!" and just do the big percussion thing. What is this? Fire Elemental World Boss. It spawns in Metrica Province every 2 hours. As long as someone does the prep event. It's basically a loot pinata. If you help take it down, you get a bunch of stuff. Gale Shot has no cleanses, boons, condies. Gale Shot can provide quickness to its group, so you could play it as a quick power DPS. And it does have some self-cleansing. There's a trait where all your squalls, which is the, unique ability for the Gale Shot, will do cleansing. And there's also, the heal skill has baked-in cleansing and super speed, so it's really nice for PvP. But if you mean, like, cleansing for your party, yeah, that's true. I'm gonna res those two. Yeah, it's not meant to be a group heal support. It's a offensive support, or it's a pure DPS. Monk, have you tried Conduit? Yeah. Yeah, I did. I got kind of bored playing that one. I thought it was kind of dull. Cap says it's kind of interesting. Pretty much every elite spec that came out is receiving hate from respective classes' mains, excluding PvE players due to the low standards of this mode. I mean, what? You're being especially sassy today. Okay, you're saying excluding PvE players, which is the largest chunk of the community. Like, there's like PvE players and like Worldview World and PvP, and you're saying excluding the 70% of the player base. Like, that's a weird statement to say. Also, I don't think everyone is hating on their spec. Okay, so hold on. Let me take it from the top here. There are some people that are really hype about Paragon, but right now it is crap for DPS. That could be looked at. Conduit, I think largely I've seen Revenants are not happy with Conduit. True. Luminary, I think it's 50-50. I think there is a chunk of Guardians that are not happy with Luminary, and that's fine. Gale Shot, I think I'm in the minority of people that dislike Gale Shot. There seems to be a ton of people that love Gale Shot. Antiquary, yeah, I would say it's like 60-30. Like 60% hate it, and then like 30 are like, oh my god, I love playing Bugs Bunny. And Amalgam, I feel like everyone loves Amalgam. Troubadour, I think a ton of people are so hyped to have a Bard finally added to the game, but in execution, they are maybe not happy with how it came out. Evoker, the DPS players are loving Evoker. The pure fire Fox Evoker doing like 60k, just sitting in fire and cackling gleefully, they're loving it. But the people trying to play support Evoker are just like, this doesn't mucking work. So that's a thing. And then what was last? Ritualist. I think a lot of people that tried out Heal Rit are like enjoying it, but the fact that the proper way to play it is constantly just killing your spirits so they never stay out more than a second, it doesn't feel like a Ritualist, and I'm hoping they change that. I don't think you're in the minority with Gale Shot. It seems 50-50 from me. Okay, I mean, maybe I'm just like, I'm hearing so many people, because like when I posted the I tried Gale Shot video, so many people were like so happy with it. We're like, Mac, I can't believe you don't like this. And I'm just like, look, yo, I'm not gonna fight you on it. We're allowed to like different things, but yeah, I've given my reasons. I don't need to just keep talking about it. I would say Amalgam is probably the most loved one, but part of it is that it's in a completely busted state right now. But I think Amalgam, they did a really good job with the visuals, with like the liquid metal, and also it has like a lot of unique skills with its own unique tool belt. I think they did a pretty good job with it. And plus, they focused purely on damage. So they weren't trying to like, you know, make it work with all these different things. They were just like, we are going to make this work for damage, and they nailed that. So maybe the classes that they kind of struggled with are the ones that they were, you know, trying to make it fit like 3 molds. Muk, what's your lead spec? Will you main for the expansion? I don't know. Like, I truly enjoyed Paragon, Ritualist, and to a lesser extent, Troubadour and Luminary in a group setting. Truly enjoy them. I'd be happy to run with a group and play Troubadour or Ritualist or Paragon or whatever. However, did I like them more than the supports I already play? Like Scourge or Untamed or Druid. Did I like them more than that? I don't know. If they made Ritualist where the spirits could stay out, I might be game to main that in group setting. But I haven't seen any of the new builds where I would like to play them when I'm on my own solo in like the story. Like I might still be playing Quick Untamed in the story chunk. I don't know. I don't think there's enough people here for this. Let me see if there's another map. What IP is this? 83. We go through EOD and had to laugh when one of the main quests is a tutorial for basic mechanics like combos and dodge. So, GG2uesday, the reason that they did that is, and I kind of get it. Keep in mind that when EOD came out, there was a lot of people who were like, oh my god, Guild Wars 2 is still alive, and they were buying the game for the first time. And so those people, when they got in, they bought the game, used their character boost, and that spot where you're standing at that you're talking about, that was where they started. So that was for those people. It wasn't intended to be something for the people that, you know, had played for 10 years. It was for the people that had just boosted a character and they were playing for the first time. Ow. That's the one. Oh no, frogs! Ow. My stun break's on cooldown. That's not good, chat. Alright, I AoE res those two. No! Ugh. Getting rocked. No one's in the armors. Ah, I touched the edge of the circle. Oh my god. Jadebot, please. This fucking frog. Like, what does the big armor do in Octavine? It can stun lock the frogs so they're not killing people. It can push these bombs out of the way. It can stun lock the big roly-poly things so they're not bothering people. Having a couple people in the armor is extremely helpful. Shoot. Yeah, I don't think there's enough people on this map. Usually that breacher over there is the first thing that gets killed because it spawns more frogs and it hasn't been killed. Wow, I am not in the circle, but it's killing me. That EU desync. Muck will be a... At Muck will be second round elites beta. What? Will I think... Okay, I think this person's asking if there will be a second round, like a second elite spec beta. There could be. They've done that before. I don't know if they will again or not. Muck, what do you use for your Jadebot core? I don't even remember. I haven't changed it in years. Magic trophies and treasure hunter. Yeah, this isn't working. This is not working. Okay. Mock, hi Gad. Have you ever seen the new PoE2 late trailer? No. Are you going to play it on Friday? No. I'm going to be on an airplane flying to Seattle for the Guild Wars 2 community meetup on Friday. I'm going to be very busy that day. I got plush Warclaw, thank you. You're welcome, Willie. I never use the armors. I don't even know what they're supposed to do or how to do it. Now, like I said, just one or two can make South Lane much easier. I think in the other lanes, you don't really need them. Some specs are really bad, so I hope there'll be another beta with new changes. Let's see. No Insane does frame-by-frame analysis of skill effects to see if they give the correct duration of the effect. Let's be honest, Muck, you're drawing toward the most sane part of the community. I mean, I did notice a couple of bugs, like Cap the on Troubadour, the tooltips are not updating with concentration. So it's like, oh yeah, when you use a shatter, you give 6 seconds of alacrity, and it's like, well, that's not enough to keep it lack up. Well, it's actually 12. It's double that because it's not reflecting, you know, changes to the tooltip. Like, there was a few things that I reported like that on the things. Like, just to show. Other than Antiquary, I gave feedback on every single class. Now, my feedback for Conduit was terrible because I didn't really have anything to say. But all the others, I had quite a bit. So, hashtag I did my part, but yeah, there was one that was, where's the Amalgam one? That one was silly. Amalgam, I just said, I had no idea what I was doing. I had every button, and I got 60k DPS. It's perfect. No changes needed. Which hopefully got the point across. Muck, any tips on how you edit your videos? Like a website that has all of the tips and tricks? Yeah. Now, right here, I just put a link in the chat. These are all guides. Like, a lot of you know me from my Guild Wars 2 guides. These are all guides I've made for content creators. This is all stuff. And then down here, making a YouTube video. Now, these days, Noxxi is my editor. I pay Noxxi, and Noxxi does my editing for me, so I don't have to. But this is a ton of information. This is basically 2 classes I did on how to make a YouTube video. So if you want them, they're there. And then there's a few other miscellaneous things in here as well. Greetings. Hello, Dex. Okay. Let's see. Octo cleared, get your loot. I love loot. Tarir has been saved. Yay, we did it. Oh no! I didn't clear it. Don't forget your daily Wizard Vault. I will absolutely forget my daily Wizard Vault. My current guide is throw money at Noxxi. I mean, all of the stuff in those videos is still relevant. You know, I was self-taught in editing for a couple of years before I started working with Noxxi, and then, you know, that got taken off my plate. Like, for example, speaking only of the programs that I tried using, DaVinci Resolve is one that I can recommend. It's completely free. You could get the free version of it, which everyone can afford, and it can do a lot. There was never something I wanted to do that I couldn't just go Google, how do I do this in DaVinci Resolve? It'd be like, oh, just do this. Like, anytime I was like, oh, you know, I want it to do like a slow zoom in, or I want it to like spin the camera and back out, and there was always a button. I just had to find, I had to Google to find it. What if you can't afford free? How are you even alive? You remind me of a thing someone posted online. They were like, when I was in college, my favorite 2 words were free or canceled. And someone replied, free pizza has been canceled. And they're like, why would you even say this? How to feel happy in DaVinci Resolve? Oh, I don't know about happy, but you can get your projects on. Really interested in all the comments on the betas, as I did not try them. I'm relatively new to the game, still working things out. That's fine. I mean, if you're new to the game, you've already got, what, 20... I'm trying to... Is it 27 elite specs to play with? You've already got a lot of elite specs to play with. So do not even worry about the ones that are unfinished. What specs do you have left to make videos on? They're all of them are in Noxxi's inbox. So today, which one came out today? I haven't even looked at the comments on it yet. I Tried Evoker came out this morning. Noxxi has sent me the video for I Tried Troubadour, so I need to watch it and see how it came out. Make sure that, you know, she didn't throw any sausages into the video somewhere. So I guess Troubadour will be tomorrow, and then yeah, there's gonna be one for each of them. I kind of hate the Antiquary and the Conduit one. I'm only kind of making them because otherwise people are gonna ask me and hound me like, where are they? So I'm making them, but I don't feel like I have enough like constructive criticism for them, so I kind of hate it a little bit. But I'm gonna make them because otherwise people will hound me asking me where they are. Is Spear good on Scrapper? Yeah, Condi Scrapper. Now Scrapper itself is more of a power-leaning class, but you can absolutely play Spear Condi on it if you really want to. It's just like the barrier. A Scrapper generates barrier when it attacks things with power damage, which gives it constant shields. So a power Scrapper has a really good survivability as long as it can just keep beating on things. It's just a 20-minute close-up of sausage. No, Noxxi, please. How does working with an editor function? Do you record everything and then have them patch everything together, or are they a producer and you the actor? It entirely depends. Wait, Noxxi just messaged me. What is it? Putting Noxxi's uploading the Antiquary video right now. How does it work? Okay, so first off, I would say it probably depends on the editor. Noxxi and I are both really chill, okay? This is not like some real... This isn't some, like, corporate mumbo-jumbo, you know? Like, we were working together for a few years before I ever heard Noxxi's voice. Like, we never needed to get on a call or anything like that. Like, I might send her footage and be like, hey, here's 30 minutes of me talking about something. Can you cut out all of the times I stuttered? Cut out any time I had to pause and think about what I was going to say, which then makes the video get condensed a little bit. Put my usual outro on the end of the video. When I'm talking about this right here, can you, insert footage of me doing that thing in strikes? Can you put a SpongeBob meme right here? And if you get any other meme ideas that you think would make it funny, throw them in there too. And the thing is Noxxi and I can both appreciate, like, jokes and humor and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool having a second person that occasionally thinks up jokes that I don't, that can put more into the video, which, you know, people enjoy that sometimes. So it's a pretty laid back thing. We have a Google Drive between the two of us, and either A, I will cut out the footage that is needed and put it onto the drive and just say, hey, there's a new thing here to work on when you can. Or Noxxi has permissions on Twitch as an editor for my Twitch streams, which means Noxxi can go and download anything I stream. So, like, without having to use weird tools or something. So Noxxi can go onto my stream and I could just say, hey, I did a section for I Tried Evoker on August 23rd. And Noxxi could just go to August 23rd, find that section and download it, and then start editing, and we don't have to even use the Google Drive thing. So, you know, there's slight things depending on what it is. Weird tools. Okay, so let me give you an example. As a YouTuber, I can go to my YouTube channel and click next to a video, and I can re-download that video. Okay? But let's say I'm not the YouTuber. Let's say I go to the Rick Roll video and there's no download button. But if I go to Google and I type download YouTube video, then like 5 links of programs you're not supposed to use are going to come up. It's really easy, you know? So anyway, Noxxi has official permissions to be able to just use the, you know, proper stuff to just easily download my stuff when needed for that kind of thing. Now, for other projects, like there's some projects where I need to make like a whole storyboard. Like for the I Tried videos, the amount of effort I have to put into the editing is almost zero. I just need to tell Noxxi like, hey, I did another I Tried video, and at this point Noxxi knows what that means. That means clean up the video, you know, cut out the pauses, cut out the stutters, cut out the breathing, take some footage of me doing strikes or something and splice it in, put an outro on the end of it, add some jokes if you see any opportunities. That's it. That's the I Tried videos. I don't have to say anything else. However, there's other videos, such as the ad for the plushie that we did. This one was a ton of work on my end, and also Noxxi's end. But this one, I had to make a whole storyboard for it. Like, okay, frame 1, I want this. Frame 2, I want that. Yada yada yada. Like, yeah, this one, we had a whole plan, and the shoe body guys like summoning the guy, and like the different camera angles and stuff like that. Like, there was an entire storyboard I drew up for like how I wanted this. And then, you know, it just became like an ad, and then we used that old TikTok, and like, here's him with a knife and stuff like that. So this came out great, but this took way more work on my side of things to make that happen than usual. So yeah, it depends on the project. But I don't know that working with other editors would be like that, because Noxxi and I are both self-taught, and we've kind of made our own system, but it works really well for us. Like, if Noxxi ever got hired by Mr. Beast and I had to find a new editor, I think we would all be in for a rude awakening on how this stuff is supposed to work. Did you give credit to the Shoebody original guy? Yeah, it's in the description of the video. I sure did. Take the stutters and breathing and make a video. That I never said. I never said take all the stutters and breathing and put them into a separate video. I thought Noxxi had been deleting them. Name one thing you want changed for each class before release. Wait, what? Lightning round? Name one change. Okay, hold on a sec. Name one change for each class before release. Okay. Luminary. Do something with the lamp. It's not involved in any way. Paragon. The F4 button is useless. Replace it with something else. Conduit. I love it lore-wise. Mechanically, it was incredibly boring to play, and it felt like Core Revenant. I'm not exactly sure what they need to change there, but that. Amalgam. It's really, really fun. The graphics are awesome. It clips really badly with char. They need to fix the char clipping, and they got to cut the damage down more than half, because 8 amalgams can clear a strike mission in like 10 seconds. We've got it on video. Antiquary. Gale Shot. Replace it with something else, because we already had archers, we had longbows, we had shortbows, we just, like, you could have just tweaked longbow and then we had an archer. Like, Gale Shot could have been a new elite spec, a new way to play the game. Instead, we got something that's not a new way to play the game, and I'm kind of jealous of others that did. Troubadour. The Troubadour is using the Mesmer Shatter system, so it feels exactly like playing most of the other Mesmers. It is really effective. It's quite good at what it does. However, it doesn't feel like a bard. If you want it to be musically inclined, add more music-related stuff to what it's doing already. So it's more, rather than replacing what it's got mechanically it's great, it needs more, like, vibe. It needs more bard vibe. Ritualist. Stop making them have to explode the spirits. It's stupid. Like, let the spirit stay out, and instead of shattering the spirit, command the spirit. So the spirit does a thing, then goes back to auto-attacking. Kind of like a ranger pet, when you tell them to do something, and then they go back to auto-attacking after. Other than that, it feels really, really good. Evoker. Evoker, the DPS Evoker is fantastic. The healing support Evoker has, like, very little support to, like, access to boons. And what it does have access to, you have to rotate through all 4 elements and click 12 buttons to do what Troubadour can do in 2 buttons at the start of combat. Like, getting 25 stacks of might up is bending over backwards and pressing like 10 buttons and blasting fire combo fields like 15 times. The Water Otter Heal Alax support Evoker feels terrible, and part of the reason for that is base Elementalist tools are terrible. Like, Core Guardian makes Luminary look good. Core Warrior has a lot to offer for Paragon. Core Elementalist sucks, so Evoker kinda sucks, unless you're playing the Pure Fire version. So, you know, maybe, like Tempest has access to, like, Aegis and Stability on Demand because of the shouts. So make some of the Evoker special utilities have, like, Stability or Aegis if you want it to be a proper support. Otherwise, no one will ever play it in PvE content. Alright, there you go. There's your lightning round. Done and done. Mug, is Quick Shot bugged on Ranger right now? Because I'm flying. Nope. You're just the wind beneath your wings. Evoker was made so we can have 1 element perk and have a Firefox. Yeah. Do Ritualist enhancements apply to minions? Yes, but they have a target cap of 5. So if you use it and there's no players near you, it'll hit your minions. But if you use it and there is players near you, it'll just hit the players. So if you're in a PvE group and you're fighting a raid boss and you have minions out, it's never going to hit the minions. Tuesday, Mug back at it again, making the worst day of the week one of the best. Is it Monday the worst day of the week? Which profession is your favorite out of all, including elite specs? Ranger is my favorite. I've got most of my hours played on Ranger. Good morning, Muck. Hi, Doodle. Love thy otter. Yeah. What do we got? Muck, there was a Dancing Plushies video with music on your birthday stream. Can you play it today? Dancing plushies? Okay, I think I know the video. The plushies thing. Okay, so we've come full circle, chat. So at this point, like, there was the Asura, then there was the Chibi Asura, then there was the plushie, and now people think the plushie started it. The shoe body. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. I mean, the plushies weren't dancing in that. Okay, so I've got the dancing video where it's the song Dancing. The shoe body one is the ad. That's here, hold on. This is the one that you might be thinking of. Hang on a sec. And this is the one where we like summoned the plushie into the world. But this wasn't dancing. Not this one. Too bad, you're saying it anyway.
Perfection.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Alright, so if that's the one you meant, the plushies just weren't involved in that one, but I'm linking it in the chat now. So there's the link to it. You can play it 100 times if you want to. But yeah, that one predates the plushie. That's why I was confused on that one. Love that one. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. How we doing time? 11 and a half minutes to kill Lexal. Oh god, I got here just in time for this crap. Oh, actually the CC bar is dropping pretty good. Okay, they've been doing alright. They're doing alright. Oh, yikes. Oh my god, that wasn't close at all. Michael, you played Ranger Guild Wars 1 to that Return to event. Do you remember what pet you started with? I think all Rangers in Guild Wars 1 start with the same pet. The Melandru's Stalker or whatever. They really didn't bother and drop Gorsel in. You know, I used to think that too, but the whole thing, like Lex Talion, once I learned about the lore of this area, it actually really makes sense why one of these creatures has formed here. However, the game does a really poor job of explaining that, and it wasn't until I talked with Loranity about this for like an hour that I was like, oh shoot, that's really good. But yeah, if because they didn't explain it, it just seems like why did they just copy a raid boss? Is there nobody there? No, I mean it's yeah, I'm soloing Lex Talion. Yeah, I'm the only one here. Can you explain? I could try. Okay. So, the way that Titans are made, I thought Titans were like Earth Elementals, right? Just like big beings of rock and stuff. They're not. There's like a person, like a human, has their soul essentially tortured for long periods of time, and it's warped and reshaped and forged into a Titan. Like, it is a horrifying process, and they're basically insane by the end of it, okay? So, that's the first thing. After that, hold on. I am trying... Yeah! Okay. After that, there's a lot of failures. When they try to make Titans, a lot of people don't survive it. And the failures are all cast aside and just thrown into a storage tank. They don't even get to go to heaven or hell. They are just basically hating life in a container. Well, this area had storage for people that were either going to be turned into Titans and they just never got around to it, or they tried to make them into Titans, and like Decima and Greer. However, this place got shut down. This place is just a giant corpse, essentially. And there was a tank, or it was a crystal, but basically there was a storage device of souls that were not allowed to move on to heaven or hell, that were just locked in here, and the souls all just fused together in constant screaming torment. This is that amalgam. This is that fusion. This thing is all the people that were considered failures by the Titan forging program, and this is all of them basically stuck together and just in constant screaming pain. That's what Lextalion and Gorseval are, is just a big collection of souls. And when you first release him, if you look at the words he says, like the guy's like, what is it, that other dude, the Norn over there, he goes, what kind of Titan is that? And he's like, we are no Titans, fool, they spit on us. So that's what it is. It's basically just a big mass of souls that were left to stew for who knows how many years. Okay, we're gonna AoE res to get some of these people up, so hopefully they help. Nice. Oh, all 3 CC windows done. Why do they fight you? They're basically insane with pain and anger. Like, they've been getting tortured for so long. Like, their very existence at this point is just constant torture. So they're just lashing out. And we didn't even free them on purpose. We did not know they were here. It's just that while we were trying to break into this place to stop the big guy here, we freed them by accident because they were trapped in a crystal that cracked. Someone arena that playing Warhammer 40k? Maybe. But the thing that I was missing when I got here is, like, I saw, you know, what they said when you free Lextalion. What I didn't know, and I think most people don't know, is how Titans are made. So, like, it wasn't until Laura explained to me, like, the Titan Foundry from Guild Wars 1 that I understood, like, how it all pieced together. And I was like, oh shoot, okay, that's actually kind of cool, but they just did a really bad job of explaining this. Boop, boop. Okay. I often like going heal support for this next segment because it's just spicy enough that pure DPS are falling, so. What is a Titan in Guild Wars 2? Do we fight any? This is the inside of a Titan right now. We're like, this is like a corpse of one that's trying to recover. So we're in this meta, we're fighting the organs. There are other Titans that are more normal size that you fight during Janthir Wilds. Janthir Wilds is basically the enemy as Titans. Like, Soto, that expansion, the enemy was demons. Now that I think about that, that makes Wing 1 make some more sense with Gorseval. Yeah, Gorseval was a amalgamation of souls. So basically, what it seems to be is in very rare occurrences within Tyria, if you've got a whole bunch of souls that are in torment and they're just trapped together for really long periods of time, a creature like Gorseval or Lextalion is what is going to be the result of that. So failures to tormented souls stuck in one place sounds like where I work. Shut up. Just imagining you in the office. All right, Gorseval, sound off. Hey, Mike, I just started playing Guild Wars 2. What is a good class and spec to start with until I get familiar with the game in every class? What's up, Aesire? There's really no wrong answer. If you've played other MMOs, you could start anything in this game and you'll be fine. However, if you've never played an MMO before and you're worried about having a rough time, then I would say that starting off, Guardian, Warrior, Ranger, or Necro are a bit easier than the others in my opinion. Now that does not mean you cannot play Elementalist, but it does have a lot more buttons, so some newbies find it overwhelming. Why not Thief? Weapon skills has no cooldowns. I don't entirely agree with this, but I'm just telling you, because, okay, you guys know because of my position, because of, like, the fact that I stream and I talk to so many of you, and because of, like, the YouTube videos of people leaving comments, I see a lot of comments from new people over the years that started as Thief as their first character, and they're like, I'm so squishy, I die all the time. And really, the big thing is just take that trait where you have lifestealing. But if they don't have that and they're new to MMOs, they seem to just die a lot. That's the reason I don't immediately recommend that one, is because I've heard that same comment hundreds of times. Pew Pew Thief has so much life. Well, no, we're talking. Okay, imagine a level 1 Thief that's never played an MMO before. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about an experienced player playing pistol unload. Now, again, I don't agree with it, but I've heard it so many times that I take it into account. %25 on the shield. Mike, do you know if Guild Wars 3 will ever be a thing? I don't know, but I can make some speculation. First off, if they are making a Guild Wars 3, it's really far out. We first heard about Hollow Knight Silksong 6 years ago. It's about to come out. So from the time we first heard about it, it was 6.5 years before it released. Now that's an extreme example, but it is an example. When a company announces a game, it is often still a very long time before we hear about it, with some exceptions. So if they are making it, I don't think it's anywhere near ready. Second thing is we haven't heard about it. Third thing, if it is coming out, we don't even know what it's going to be. Guild Wars 1 and 2 were completely different games. Maybe Guild Wars 3 is a Souls-like extraction, deck-building, looter, shooter. I don't know. Like, so if it's going to come out, there's that. One thing we've heard that might be Guild Wars 3, it could also be something else entirely, is the ArenaNet had a job posting a while back for someone to... Sorry, I was focusing on the fight. Someone with experience in, I think it was Unreal Engine. They were hiring someone that had experience in Unreal Engine. And no one knows what that job was for. So there's a lot of people guessing maybe it's for a new Guild Wars game. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that was a speculation that had a little bit of grounds, so I'm mentioning it. But it could also have been for something for like Blade and Soul or Aeon. Remember, ArenaNet has, or so I should say NCSoft has other franchises. Or they've got other games. Do you think they're working on it? I have no idea. They have, like, compared to like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, they have a small dev team. So they could be. I mean, I would think if they are working on it, they would have an entirely separate team dedicated to that. But honest answer, I don't know. I do not know. But those are the lines of logic in my head. Imagine thinking you got a new game because of one job posting. Well, the thing is like, you can often... that's a common tactic with people that are speculating on upcoming games, is to look at the hiring stuff for the company that is making the games. Like, if they're hiring for a position that makes no sense with their current games, they probably have a secret project. Like, that's been a thing for quite some time. And in this case, Guild Wars 2 is the main thing at ArenaNet, and it's not an Unreal Engine. So if they're hiring someone for something in Unreal Engine, either A, it's for a new game in Unreal, or B, it's for one of NCSoft's other things, and ArenaNet is helping to work on it. So, you know, again, something for like Aeon or Blade and Soul or one of their other owned things. So it very much could be Guild Wars related or Guild Wars adjacent. Another example I'll give you is there are times when a company makes a new game in a universe and it's a completely different type of game. For example, Guild Wars 1 and 2. Another example would be the Witcher series, followed by Gwent. Gwent, the card game. Gwent does very well for itself. And that's a completely different style of game from the Witcher. Gwent has 750 players the last 24 hours. I mean, Gwent, yeah. Gwent's been out for a little while at this point. My point is that, like, if you just look at, like, how many people have played it since it came out, I think it more than paid for itself, right? Like, I think if you just look at the project as a whole, it was a successful project. Do you know Poly Mock from Guild Wars 1? Wasn't that like an infusion or something? That said, I'm not hoping for a card game. It was just an example, right? What's another one? League of Legends, and then later they made Teamfight Tactics, right? Same universe, completely different game. League also, back when they had Riot Forge, there was also Ruined King, Hextech Mayhem. You know, they had a lot of other smaller games that were in the franchise. There was another one with Nunu that I can't remember the name of. Maybe someone else will remember it. But they made a handful of other games that were, you know, pretty neat little games that were in the universe, but they were not like a League of Legends 2. If they start hiring for a new Guild Wars recently, that would be like 10 years down the line. Maybe. But it does depend on what they make. It's like, again, just I'm spitballing here. If they make a single player story-based RPG where it's just like a tale, like Tales of the Borderlands, if it's like Tales of Tyria, and we just play some guy going through a story in Guild Wars, that could be pretty cool, and that would have less development time than a massive, like if them trying to make a new MMORPG. But if they do eventually try to make like another MMO, like an entire MMO, that's going to be a massive project. Guild Wars 2 Roller Beetle Racing. Oh, I got one. Gorik's Roller Beetle Tycoon. And you make like a whole theme park where you grow and ride roller beetles. Oh no, he stunned me. My legs, I can't move. They're dead, Jim. Alright, that was the last lane. Slash map GG. What even makes a totally separate MMO if your current one is horizontal progression? They could just update the graphics. The thing is, okay, I'm not a programmer, but I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. The base systems that Guild Wars 2 was built on top of were modern 13 years ago. They can't just update the graphics. Like, even to put this on a new engine, it's not like they're starting at 0. They're starting at -1000 because they have to unravel all the 13 years of code and then learn how to rebuild that code on a new engine. So they're not starting from like the baseline. They're starting from behind that. There's other companies whose games I follow. I enjoy Dungeon Defenders from time to time, and they've had a very long expose where they talked about this because they're like, yeah, we would love to move Dungeon Defenders onto a new engine, but it's not that easy. So if they did, again, this is a lot of ifs. If they did choose to make a Guild Wars 3, one advantage is they could start from 0 again. They've got, a world, they've got lore, they've got classes that they could, choose from. Like a lot of the ideas are already formed, but they could do it all like in a new engine. They would it's just like, where would they go from there? Like, for example, EverQuest 1 to EverQuest 2, it was like a 500-year jump. Both games were still supported and still got expansions, but EverQuest 2 was supposedly a few hundred years in the future. Cataclysm had happened, so the land masses were slightly different, stuff like that. What if some of us don't like the graphics that you like? If my characters all look different and I don't like it, is that a bummer for me? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like, if you really liked how the humans looked in Guild Wars 1, then you played a human in Guild Wars 2 and you didn't like it, yeah, that's a bummer for you. Like, what are you going to do about that? Like, if they... Okay, again, spitballing. Let's say they made a Guild Wars 3 and it had Tengo, but it didn't have Asura. I'd be sad. I wouldn't make that trade. Some of you would make that trade. I would not make that trade. Right? So yeah, there's always going to be decisions they make that some players are not happy with. Yeah, of course. Sounds good already? I know. Easiest trade of my life. I know. Removing races would be so odd. I mean, okay, so what if it's like 1,000 years in the future and the Char are all dead? And there's a lore reason, you know? Like they played with nuclear power and it blew up in their face. I don't know. But I'm saying, like, they could just do something like that. Maybe the dwarves have returned. They have multiplied and prospered. Giggity giggity goo. And now there's just so many dwarves you can play dwarves. You know, they can make up, if there's a time skip, they can make up whatever lore they want to justify whatever they're doing. Undead Char. Oh man, I do love playing Undead. Ascalon finally gets revenge. Yeah. Bird says, in Raid Shadow Legends in a clan, what's the appeal of getting 3 stars of clan activity progress? Dude, it's been over a year since I played Raid Shadow Legends. I think the stars just indicate how much weekly rewards you get for participation in the clan, but I don't know the thresholds for, like, what you get. You might ask in the Raid channel on the Discord. There's still a lot of active players in there. I just haven't touched it in a while. My biggest question would be, what would they use? Would they just duplicate Path of Fire, but with new graphics? Would they create a new version? Okay, so you're basically saying, would they just remaster it? Like, just remake the game in a new engine? I doubt they would do that. That would be a massive undertaking, and I don't think it would make enough sales to justify that amount of work. I think whatever they would make, again, I think that they would make something new. Which means it might fail, we might not like it, or we might love it, I don't know. But I think that they would try to make something new if they're going to do that much work. Wait, what was this? Muck, what was the name of the sponsors game you played last night? Particle Hearts. Here is a link to it. Do you plan to play more of it? I think we were like 40% done with it. So I think if I play it on like 2 more nights, we could finish it. And yeah, I'm down to finish it. It was a relaxing game. Yeah, I just put a link to it in the chat, but it's not gonna be like in the next couple days or anything. But yeah, I'm game to finish it at some point. How many years have passed between the core story and Janthir? I think it's supposed to be relevant to real time. So, like, 10 years or something like that? I think it's supposed to be around real time. Day 15 of asking Muck to play SS Berserker. Sorry, Tabi, I talked to Captain Crapface today. He told me Warriors sucks. I can't play it now. I missed yesterday's stream. How was Conduit? It wasn't for me. I got pretty bored of it. I thought it was really dull. It felt kind of like playing Base Revenant. I like the lore behind it. I don't know. It needs something else for the execution, in my opinion. You can check the years in the story tab. Really? I didn't know that. Hang on. (1325 AE) for the beginning of the story. 1325. 1337. So 12 years. So almost spot on. 1338. So okay, 13 years. So from the beginning thing to the end thing, it's 13 years. Yeah. So it's lined up with real time. It's lined up with real time. Huh, I didn't know about the years thing. It needs something else in execution applies to all the elite specs. Kind of. I mean, Amalgam's executing everybody. Amalgam needs less damage. AE is after Escalon. I don't know. Let's see. Guild Wars, what is AE? After Exodus. The events that took place after the exodus of the gods when the gods left the mortal world. What? Didn't the gods, like, didn't we talk to the gods in, like, Path of Fire or something, and then they left again? We're like, hey, help us with Balthazar, and they're like, oh man, that's a damn shame. And then we saw them leave? They didn't leave that long ago. They lived in Ur for a while? I think that was just Cormyr. Which feels better for Evoker, solo fire versus air? If you can make air, well, okay, not solo air, but you could do air with quickness and have quickness when you're on your own. But if you do solo fire, it's really straightforward. Only Cormyr should become a god in Nightfall, the others were all gone except Bali. They used to live on Tyria, and then they left to the Mist, so we talked to them in the Mist, not on Tyria. I just remember we went to that massive library thing, and we talked to, I guess, Cormyr, and I thought they were all there, and Cormyr was like, oh yeah, the others left, I'm about to leave too. So I thought it had, like, just happened. Like, they had just dipped out. Charmon needs more ectos. We gave Charmon a bunch of ectos yesterday. He's fine. I think he's his bags are full. He's fine. Cormyr forgot her keys, just came back to pick them up. Yeah, that's it. Thoughts on Ritualist Spirit's only purpose is to be immediately sacrificed. I feel they could have used it better. I agree. I mean, I'll show you. Hang on. Let's see. This is the feedback I left on each of the things. Where's Ritualist? Alright, so I even said, right here, while the support build was very fun, it didn't feel like I was playing a Ritualist at all. I was constantly summoning and immediately shattering my spirits the moment they spawned to keep boons up. To preserve the class identity, I would recommend changing Shatters to Commands so that it isn't just a copy of Mesmer. Leave the spirits on the field for 30 plus seconds, refreshed when resummoned, baseline without traits, and when you use the F1, F2, F3 buttons, have the spirits simply cast their ability and not explode. I feel like this would greatly improve how the class vibe feels to play. So, that was a section of my feedback. I agree with you, just shattering them. Like, one, having a Shatter Spirit button feels stupid. Two, shattering them for keeping boons up and having to just do it non-stop feels stupider. Just Mesmer? Yeah, that's basically it, is Mesmer Necro. Can someone link the forum thread for conduit feedback? I can get it for you. Hang on. One sec. I'm trying to get the link for the thread and not just my comment. Okay. I think this is it. I think that's the conduit link. Almost news o'clock, wondering if we get anything interesting today. I'm not expecting anything, but we'll see. I find it funny how to make Necro good support they copied Mesmer. Well, Necro already was a great support. Think about how many times the Scourge has been nerfed. So it's not like they needed to copy Mesmer to make it a good support. It's just they were coming up with something new and they copied Mesmer for the new thing. When are you going to Seattle? Man, just a couple days. Thursday night, after the stream ends at like midnight, I'm gonna sleep for like 3 hours and then get up and go to the airport. So like super early Friday is we get on the plane to go to Seattle. And Friday night is when the community meetup is. And then Saturday, I will be at PAX West, which is also very nearby to that, and that'll be my first con. And if you're there, if you see someone with an Asura on their shoulder, it's probably me. How long is the flight to Seattle? Like 5 or 6 hours. I'm going to try to sleep on the plane. It is a bit. Just got a call for a double shift today in honor of Guild Wars Tuesday. I ordered Panda Express in honor of Guild Wars Tuesday. I'm writing my master's thesis, so watching Muck is the highlight of my day, like every day. Nice, XJ. Why don't you just do a half stream setup that night so you can get more sleep? Alright, this is really cheesy. We've got this thing where for the last 7 years I've streamed every single day. So I wanted to stream until 12:01. So I can technically say I streamed Friday if I don't have time to do anything else on Friday. So I can say, I streamed 1 minute of Friday. What are you talking about? So it's to keep the streak alive. I'm making Astralaria. I'm on stage 3. Any suggestions? No suggestions. I haven't made Astralaria. I made Frostfang. Wait, what? Oh, I'm targeting the head right now. Feared. Hey, we res. Boom! 5 of you get up. And another one. Oh, man, dodge all these circles. I got splat. No! Oh my god, that's a lot of markers. You know what, maybe I just go over here to the other foot where there's less people. Maybe I'll just have a party over here. Alright, he's invulnerable. Two more. No! They died for you, Unholy. They died for you. What is this meta? Tequaddle. It's 13 years old. Giant dragon comes nearby. These Asura use these giant lasers and shoot it down. You keep the lasers alive. They keep shooting it down. You get it to 0 health. And it gives a guaranteed gold piece. Ooh, big money. And sometimes a spoon. New free item on Gem Store? Hang on. Where? I don't see a free item. Rurik's Cape. Maybe you already have it. Maybe I do. Break his toes! Alright, he's invuln again, so he's gonna lift off, and now we gotta shoot him down again. Tech gives 2 gold. Oh shoot, they doubled it. Muck gets a cape, I sent you a Discord DM. Oh, okay. Like someone said, I might already have it. Is there any reason to do core Tyrion metas? Fun. It's just something for me to beat on while I chat with you guys. He said the word. Yeah. The forbidden word. 9 out of 10 Redditors hate this word. Fun. Monk, have you tried the game New World? If so, what did you think? I didn't. When it first came out, I looked at a trailer for it, and I'm like, it doesn't really look interesting to me, and I didn't try it. And then the whole thing ended up being just like an absolute dumpster fire, and I thought that was kind of funny, because, you know, I wasn't interested. I have heard it's better now, but no, I've never actually tried it. Alright, he's invuln. He's gonna take off, and we just gotta shoot him down one more time and we could kill him. Are there Twitch drops for Guild Wars 2 now? Yeah. It's the same as the last campaign, so if you got it last time, it's the same stuff, but if you missed it last time, it's another opportunity to get it. Do you use any graphic modes? Don't know why your graphics are better than mine. No. That's my in-game settings if you want to look. I'm not using... I am using a few add-ons, but none for graphics. Shadow's not even set to highest. Easy. Rocking 8 FPS. That's part of the reason I have other characters' models set to lowest, so I see less of them. It's just, it's too much with everybody's details. Music still slams? Yeah. Hello there, good day. Hey, X4. Let's see what else we got. Could go fight the grunting chief. Are there any professions that you just have no love for? There are things about some professions I don't like, but there's no profession I just, like, 100% entirely dislike. Like, thief. I think thief should have had a different name from the launch of the game. Like, thief, like, its entire class identity is they robbed a 7-Eleven. They commit misdemeanors, that's it. Not spy, not assassin, not rogue, not smuggler, like, it's thief. They stole someone's, they're pickpocket, okay. Like, it seems kind of weird that, you know, that would be something that under the employ of the crown of Tyria and stuff like that, like thieves. Oh yeah, the commander? Yeah, he's just a thief. Watch your wallet when you're near the commander. Like, that's something I disagree with, but, like, the class itself is fine. Ryujin says, Muk, thanks to the videos about legendaries, I'm about to start Legendary Raid Armor, Conflicts, Vision, Aurora, and Coalescence. All of them? I maybe do one at a time. But, yeah, power to you. Do it. The commander stole my Skittles. I think I see you do Tequado more recently. Did you change something up? Nah, I really don't like putting together groups for, like, raids and strikes and stuff like that, you know, too often. So just doing open world stuff is nice, as I can just beat on things, get more money for giveaways, and talk to you guys at the same time. Tequado's just one of the many open world things I can easily do. What are you talking about? You obviously hate Weavers. Yeah, but I don't hate Elementalists. He was talking about, like, the base classes. Okay, honestly, I think Weavers are cheated. Okay? If you have a Firebrand that devotes 50% of its power to damage, and on top of that, it can do stability on demand, resistance on demand, projectile reflect on demand, etc., etc. It is not fair to the Weaver that the Firebrand can do the same damage. I feel if you were trying to do class balance, the Weaver should be 5 to 10k ahead of the Firebrand because the Firebrand has so much utility in the kit. That to me would be balancing. So I feel like Weaver, for some reason, is cheated out of that because a Weaver has to go 110% into Glass Cannon. They are the most fragile class in the game, and their traits are damaged, their specializations are damaged, their weapons are damaged, their utilities are damaged, their heal skills sometimes used for damage, their elite is damage. It's all damage, and yet they barely keep up with the people who have utility. So I feel like for the MMO's balance, the Weaver should do more damage than it does. So I hate on current Weaver, yes. I don't understand why people would play it, because it's 10 times the work, half the hit points, and half the pay of anybody else. Mug, are you still enjoying Guild Wars today? Yes. Would you rather only play when there's new content? I enjoy playing it on Tuesdays. I would say largely I do it for the community at this point. But I have... Hold on, what is /played? Or /age, sorry, wrong game. I have 9,600 hours in this game, right? So, I mean, I've beaten it. I definitely love playing it when there's new content, and, you know, once a week to kind of hang out with the community. But if I do it more than that, I get burned out. Hello, I've contacted the customer service ANET. Is it normal that they are slow to reply? I don't work for them, so I don't know. I would say if you've got a ticket, just be patient. Maybe they're busy. I have no idea. What would you say your main would be if not Ranger? Engineer or Necro. Those are my second most played. Second and third, I don't know the order. But Engineer and Necro has been my main for some expansions. What's your least played? Probably Thief. But like, besides Ranger, Engie, and Necro, the other 6 I have played way less. But I think Thief might be the least played? Maybe? Maybe. I like playing Alpha Chad Male Guardian. Thief least played, about to change with Antiquary now, right? Oh my god. No, that's not about to change with Antiquary. You think Jormag's got a neck this long? Yeah, that looks like Jormag's head, but we never saw Jormag below the head, so we don't know if it's got like that long serpentine neck. Neokali says the Guild Wars 2 community is often perceived as... Wait, what? The Guild Wars 2 community is often perceived as somewhat insecure and demanding towards creators. How do you deal with that? I don't know what you're talking about. You're just like, everyone hates you, how do you respond? I'm like, what? I mean... I don't feel that that is a thing. Like, I would say... That's not what I said. No, I mean... Okay, well, hold on. Let me repeat. What'd you say word for word? Perceived as insecure and demanding towards creators. I mean, I think if you take any content creator that has kind of become successful within a niche, people will constantly be like, where's more, you know? Like, let's say I spend a month working on a video, and I post a video, and then people will be like, cool, when's the next one, right? That's just people. But no, I don't know where the insecure thing is coming from. I don't know if you got that vibe from somewhere else, or if you just came up with that, or I don't know. I don't know where that's from. Guild Wars 2 players are extremely insecure. Think of the Dragon's End meta and the turtle. I think that was a fair discourse. So here's the thing. One of the big selling points of End of Dragons was a new mount. Right? Some people may have bought it for the new mount. They're like, oh, I really want that. That is the thing that is making me get it. But then, to get it, you had to do a successful Dragon's End. Dragon's End is like 50-man content, and one player, please remember how it was at launch. One player failing the spirit mechanic could fail it for the 49 other people. Okay? So there were people that were trolling, that were making maps fail because they thought it was funny, right? So the thing with Dragon's End, like, that was a fair discourse. Like, that was non-consensual raiding. There were people that were like enjoying the challenge and they loved it, and there were other people that were like, I don't want to be here. I'm just trying to get this turtle. I have been failing on it 16 times in a row. I just want to get this and leave. And they were starting to just hate it. And it was meant to be this monumental, epic finale to the, Dragon Saga, but unfortunately it ended up being, like, very bittersweet. Wait, hold on, what? Let me clarify, they tend to get insecure when streamers starts part-timing the game. No, I haven't seen that either. Again, I'm wondering if maybe you saw that happen for, like, a content creator and you're thinking it applies to all, but I haven't seen that. And for me personally, okay, we're jumping topics a lot right now, but I will try to keep up. I went from doing streaming Guild Wars 2 every single day, like, for 3 years, literally without skipping a day. Not Christmas, not a Saturday, not a bank holiday, nothing. I streamed Guild Wars 2 every single day for like 3+ years, and I got burned out, and I started doing it once a week. People were very understanding. Now, it also depends on your community. You know, if your community is one where people just scream like ass butt all the time, it's going to be different. Mine, you know, it tends to be pretty mature here, so it depends. But no, I mean, mine was pretty understanding. I was like, yeah, guys, I'm burned out. I'm going insane. I don't want to hate the game. I'm going to taper it back. And I also took a big hit financially when I did that, you know? I basically was voluntarily streaming games where I had half the viewership just to stay sane because I hit burnout. And they were like, yeah, okay. I mean, he's taking a hit. He's clearly doing this for a reason. So no, I did not have that. I don't know a guy called me a Blizzdrone. I've never heard that term before. But are you saying, are all these questions being prompted because one guy called you a name? Like, you're like, how do you feel about an insecure community because one guy name called you? Is that what I'm understanding here? Because boy howdy, I could tell you about some one guy things that happened to me. One of them's name is Nike. He did it after we had all that discussion. Okay. My honest answer to you is I don't know what prompted this, but I do not feel that those statements are true. I am lucky enough to be one of the larger content creators to this space, and I have not experienced, like, there's bad eggs, sure, right? Like, like, my YouTube channel has 100,000 subscribers right now, so I'm gonna use 100,000 as a base. Anytime I post anything, a couple of people hit the dislike button, right? There is no way to please everyone. So all I can try to do is please most of the people most of the time. There's no way I'm going to get 100% every single time, right? It's not gonna happen. So yeah, I do the best I can. There are going to be people that dislike you, no matter what you do, so you might as well just do your best. Not with that attitude. Not with that attitude. Dang it, Mugs. Be more likable. Hitting the dislike button counts as engagement. Yeah. The thing that can be kind of daunting if you're in content creation is like, okay, here's a metaphor I've used many times. All right, let's say you're going about your day-to-day in real life. How many human beings do you speak to physically, one-on-one, like day-to-day? Like, when I was working in tech support, it was maybe like the 15 people in my office, my wife at home, and then maybe a few dozen people on phone calls each day. Okay, that's it. So we're highballing it, maybe 50 people a day I'm speaking with, right? Here, like let's say that in real life, that 1% of the people you meet hate you. That's just how likable you are. 1% of them just hate your guts, okay? That means when I was in tech support, every 2 days, I'd meet one person that hates me. Here, doing what I do now, there's so many of you that just know who I am, that 1% can form a fan club. Okay? So, yeah, with any content creator, if you take that small percentage of people that dislike them, there's enough to make a freaking clubhouse, okay? Like, that's just how it is. You know, 1% of my YouTube subscribers is 1,000 people. If 1,000 people hate me, like, oh man, I gotta avoid those. And that's when it gets weird. But, you know, if you could just kind of tell yourself, like, yeah, okay, with any community, there's a few bad eggs. There's going to be a few people that dislike me. My hope is that, like, if someone dislikes my content, they just go, okay, and they change the channel. To me, that's the mature response, right? Like, if I tune into a Guild Wars 2 stream and I don't really like what the person's doing or I don't like their language, I could just go, okay, and I just change it. That's it. That's the extent. Like, unless they're doing something that's, like, really vile. Like, I just changed the channel. But there are some folks that'll make it their own personal, like, hate campaign to really just follow you. There's some folks that'll make it, like, their own personal hate campaign. Hate watching is mental? Yeah. I don't think people are built to handle the hate of 100 plus people. The percentages don't matter. True. Like I completely agree with that. Back in the day, you know, when we just had, like, you know, pre-internet, you would not even have as many people in your town as the number of people that I now sort of socialize with on a daily basis. It is bonkers. And yeah, you have to be able to kind of tune out the people that don't like you, or you'll probably just quit content creation at some point, because it's it can be taxing. It can be taxing. But yeah, no, I'm happy to answer these questions. I do not agree with the base statement, because the opening question there was, how do you feel about blah blah blah? And I was like, I don't think blah 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 is true. So I'm present, I hate Buck. Hi, Skooma, I know you do. Let's see. I certainly now hate a certain content creator. I have unsubscribed to him because he didn't see any fault with his videos. Sacking Monk because I know the virus. Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't want to drag that back into the light, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Unless they dislike Guild Wars 2. And at that point, I'm like, why are you watching Guild Wars 2 videos? I do find it odd when someone, like, because it's not common, but occasionally someone clicks on, like, they'll click on a video that's like, yo, I tried Evoker, and they'll click on the video and leave a comment, and they're like, I hate Evoker. And I'm like, okay, well, it sounds like you've already made an opinion. Why did you click on this video? You know? Or like, they'll click on a why play Guild Wars 2, and they'll click on it and they'll leave a comment. It's like, Guild Wars 2 sucks. And it's like, yo, that's like going to a basketball game and screaming basketball sucks. Like, why? Why? Are you just trying to get mobbed? Like, what's the point of that? Like, why go to a place that clearly has a group of people that are fans of a thing and yell, I hate thing? It's the same as the Diablo 4 haters watching every Diablo video leaving hate comments. Now, see, that is weird to me. Like, I tried D4, and I will admit, I wasn't a huge fan. I've played Diablo 1, 2, 3, and 4. Diablo 4, I wasn't a big fan. Also, like, I had a ton of technical issues with the game. When I got to the final boss, the game crashed, and I was like, you know what, I'm freaking done, and I just watched the ending cinematic on YouTube. I never opened it again. I don't think it was a great game compared to what they made in the past. However, I have never watched a D4 video since then, and I haven't been opening the game since then. That's it. I feel like that's how capitalism should be. Like, if you don't want product, don't interact with product. That's it. Muck features me on one of his videos, and this was the first time my parents said they were proud of me, so of course I cannot hate Muck. Yeah, tell your mom I said hi. People love to yuck on someone's yum. Some people are wee and some people are woo. Any changes to the Quickness Untamed build of yours since you made the video last year? What's up, Radon? Maybe some minor changes? I mean, I can show you... It plays in the same way. These are the traits and stuff I'm currently running. If you want to take a screenshot, you're welcome to do so. I might have changed something here and there and I just don't remember it. You have an extremely healthy and mature outlook when interacting with stuff online. Hopefully others could adopt the same. I mean, I'm old. So I've mellowed out a bit. I mean, of course, when I was a kid on the internet for the first time, I'm sure I raged and thrashed as much as everybody else. But now it's like I'm mellowed out. So I try to keep the people around me mellowed out. I never understood the hate crap. You don't like something, don't watch it. Yeah, like, okay, I would get it if you're like, oh, I hate this person. They constantly are advocating for, I don't know, you know, burning down schools or something, like just something insane, right? Like, I would totally get like, wow, that's messed up. But if it's just like, oh man, this guy likes World of Warcraft, I hate him. It's just like, what? Just don't watch the video. It's a game. Like, I don't understand. Let's see, Missing Monsters restarting. Oh, Chakaron's fun. Let's do that if we can. I think one of the bad parts about social media is that many people somehow think that they have to interact since whatever they read and watched is happening right in their living room. Yeah. Also, I think part of that is news tends to focus so much on negative that we are absolutely just hammered with negative information constantly. And, oh my god, what is this squad I joined? Holy crap. Like, there's a commander tag on this map, but everybody else is not on this map. Okay, hold on. Let's try that one. Alright, that's fine. Negative was to get clicks. Yeah, and I think that's unfortunate. So it's just, we're just... Like back in the day, you would hear about, you know, someone who died of fever in the village one town over, like once every couple of winters. Now, like, you can get the amount of negative information and news that you would get over the course of years in the past, you can get it in the morning before breakfast. If you try to. So, I mean, it's like, oh man. You gotta tune that out sometimes. Like, and I don't mean be blind to it, but I mean, don't, like, drown yourself in negative news if there's nothing you can do about it, you know? Like, you'll be aware of the things that you can change and the stuff happening around you, but if it's nothing that you can affect whatsoever, you don't have to constantly just submerge yourself in it. That's my worldview. That's my worldview. You know, it's, if you don't agree, that's fine. I'm not gonna fight you about it, but that's how I look at it. JS says, I played Diablo 4 at launch. I stopped shortly after Season 1 ended, but will pop in from time to time to see if anything catches my interest. And they've changed things so much since launch. Maybe I should give it another try at some point when I've got an opening on the schedule. I only played it at launch, and the thing was just giving me so many, like, problems. Both, like, in-game and also, like, technical issues. I needed to hear that, actually. I mean, it works for me. I love my Magic Book Reader device that fits in my pocket and also has a camera and phone bolted onto it for some reason. Oh, yeah, the phone. I stopped watching the news when COVID hit. It was so overwhelming. It was really having a bad effect on mental health. I can understand that. Oh god. Greetings, Ratlord Muck and Peasants. I, Lord Zonix, have arrived to grace you with my presence. The dragon is wreaking havoc in Sonic's lands and burned fields of corn. Oh, we stay strong and ready to rebuild our fields. The people of Sonic's land sure have real great mental fortitude. I see you're using Hammer and Avian Pet. May I ask why? They did a buff to birds a while back where the hawk became one of the top DPS pets if you can turn off the F3, the quickening screech. If you can disable F3 so it doesn't waste time on this, it becomes a pretty good DPS option. Someone at Snowcrows did the math, and I just believed it. So I'm using that. I'm using Hammer and Maces. Hammer and Spear is more damage, but Maces give a ton of boons and survivability, and I just like that. So I'm using Maces and Hammer right now. As someone who grew up and has been drawn into the online world and gaming, I feel lucky that my first instinct with Twitter and other forms of constant availability was hell no. Yeah, one thing to keep in mind is on things like Twitter, you can kind of cultivate your feed. Like, you can go on there, and if you see something you don't like, you can click, like, don't show me more of this. And it often works, not always, but you can kind of cultivate your feeds. Like, my feed is mostly video game stuff. Now, I've not been able to do that on Blue Sky yet. Blue Sky, I don't know if it's algorithm or if it's just because my account is newer there, but I'm still working on that over there. But on Twitter, I mostly see stuff related to gaming. You know, you can say, don't show me this from time to time. Oh, this was a cool picture someone sent me on Twitter yesterday. It says, new mounts being added to Guild Wars 2, Asura's not to scale. And I saw there was 2 of the plushie, and I was like, you got 2 of them! And he said his and hers. Now we don't fight over them. So this person and their wife each got a plushie. I love it. They're riding on Benny Beavers. There's Ritlock up there. So this is something that made me smile that someone sent me on Twitter yesterday. Let's see. What was the command again for I hit 80? Now what do I do? Exclamation fresh 80. Fresh 80. But yeah, like, I started using Twitter and stuff just as a content creator. Now I occasionally surf it and I see what, like, other, I started to say coworkers, other streamers are up to. Like, I'll see some project that Laura's working on because she talks about it on Twitter before I see it on Twitch or something like that. So it's a useful tool. Like any website, it's just a group of people. And if you can tune out the ones you don't want to hear, it can be kind of nice. Coworkers? Yeah, coworkers. Yeah, Twitter, like, in my mind, Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, Reddit, the forum, they're all just a website with people on it. And it's just a matter of, how do the people think they're allowed to act there? On Reddit, it's unhinged. So I'm there pretty rarely. Twitter, if you filter out the stuff you want to see, so it can be nice. Blue Sky, not really. Facebook, super nice. The people, I mean, maybe it's just because they're older. The people on Facebook are super nice. They're very sweet. The forums are pretty nice, but the forums are moderated by the official team. So, if you act like just a clown on there, you'll get kicked off. Is it a third round of the same drops? Yes, they were doing a second round of the drops, and then the beta broke, and then it got unsynced, so the beta and the drops weren't lined up, so then they did a third round of the same drops to line up with the beta. Facebook is too old, they don't have time to get mad at things? I guess. Facebook recommended me your fan page today. Yeah. Yeah, basically anytime I post something that I'm gonna post, I write it down, like I type it up in Notepad, and I copy it, and I paste on Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord, Facebook. Bing, 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 bing. I just put it on all of them. And people be like, you're on Blue Sky? And I'm like, it's the same thing. I just copy paste it to all of them. And some people like this one, some people like that one. I don't really care. The drops got extended. Yeah, they ended technically Sunday night and then restarted the same campaign again. So it's another chance to get the same stuff. I've seen some horrible stuff on social media, so I really use it. I know you could tailor it to your liking, but I can't be bothered, honestly. That's totally fine. You don't have to. That's totally fun. I'm a believer of dead internet theory. There's definitely some bot accounts for sure. But like I said, I use it to, basically talk to fans, talk to other streamers, like Loranity, as mentioned a little while ago. Just because of how many people I talk to. Like, I spend so much time streaming and not watching streams that I often find out about, like, new videos that Loranity makes or Lord Heisen makes and stuff like that because of their Twitter. I usually find out about it there before anywhere else. Any tips for new Guild Wars 2 streamer LOLAFAF? I don't know what the AF is, but any tips for new streamer? Sure, I got you. This webpage that I just linked in the chat has a whole bunch of guides that I made for content creation. The top one is a gold mine. Like, every tip and trick that worked for me in the first 1,000 days that I streamed, like, is in this video. So if you want it, it's right there. That's all the nuggets of wisdom I have. Same as YouTube, which is addiction at this point, and Reddit, which is useful for asking questions to real people instead of AI. Darth, thank you for the prime. Appreciate that. Social media most people think of, I just don't get much of the appeal. Is that video still being used in Portugal? I don't know. Yeah, there was a period of time that video was being used in a classroom in Portugal. The teacher was using it for a class they were teaching, which was very flattering. You talking about mature people topic? I'm like, look at my cat, he's so cute. Dude, my son, he loves our cat chip, and he loves cat pics. So anytime I see a funny cat pic on there, I might call him into the room and be like, hey, check this out. He loves the cat pics on the internet thing. I have a big problem. I got the Sunrise Legendary thing, but I don't have the clovers to make it. Get good. Get more clovers. Muck, why in your older videos do you roast Firebrand so much? Jealousy. So, it is less of an issue now, but Firebrands, like, undebatably, were the go-to support for, like, 5 years. They were the only support that could pump out stability. Druid and Tempest did not even have stability at all. They added it after Firebrands were God's gift to support for like 5 years. So, yeah, I hated on them a lot in my old videos. Oh, just bring in Firebrand. They could freaking do anything. Yeah, stuff like that. Dude, also, their stuff was 10-man. It's like Stand Your Ground. Stand Your Ground gave stability to the entire 10-man squad, not just a group of 5. So, Druid and Tempest had 0 stability, and Firebrand had 10-man stability. Like, oh, Base Guardian had 10-man stability. Because it was Stand Your Ground was Base Guardian, but then Firebrand could just fart it, they could fart it out more often. So now, you know, Tempest and Druid at least can do like 1 stab every 30 seconds or something. So they've got some, but yeah, just basically Firebrand was ArenaNet's favorite class, possibly still is. The end. It's not even debatable. It took 5 years to balance. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's constant farting out of Aegis and stability. It's just, it's everything. I remember in the, what was it? There was one, I think it was Cairn guide. When I made the Cairn guide, I was like, and he's gonna knock you around, but this is completely countered by having 1 Guardian in the raid, click Stand Your Ground. If you don't have a Guardian, just kick the Engineer. They don't even do anything, just get a Guardian. Which, that joke didn't age well, because now Engineers are fantastic. But, yeah, it's still in that guide. Now having a visual of an Asura farting out Aegis. Ugh. Just play Heal Kata, permanent 2-stem. There is a way to play the current heal Rit. Oh, this map failed. There's a way to play the current heal Rit that just has 5 stacks of stab on the party at all times, but they just constantly kill their spirits. Noxxi figured it out and shared it with me. Rada. Oh. I would say they still, yeah, and it's not like they ever nerfed Guardian. What they did was they finally, gave like A stability and A Aegis to some of the other supports. So they're viable even if they're not as good. So it wasn't that Firebrand like ever got nerfed. I mean, I guess Stand Your Ground went from 10-man to 5. But yeah. They gave the unwashed masses 1 stab. Yeah, exactly. The peasants got 1 stab and they're gonna like it. This map failed, said Muck, I'm not helping out. No, like, didn't even start. It didn't even begin. The people in my group left. Honestly, though, like, real talk, if you look at what base Firebrand has, like, before you spend a single point in the traits, that was a mistake. The tomes... that was a mistake. Like, for example, Unleash. Being able to move Unleash between me and my pet, that doesn't hold a candle to the tomes. Soul Beast, being able to merge with their pet, not even close. Right? Harbinger Shroud? No? What, Continuum Split? Continuum Split's nice, but no. Like, there's I can't think of anything in the game that compares with 3 extra weapons that are really freaking good. Like the 3 tomes of Firebrand. And one of them is just like copious stability, one of them's resistance, one of them has reflect bubble, one of them has a pull, and there's still 13 more. Like, it's incredible. It's really, like, I honestly think they made a huge mistake when they made that. That was way too much. It's 15 free skills. And no matter what their build is, they have those. I hear you always talking about another website for builds. Would you recommend that over MetaBattle? There's a few that I recommend. So, guildgen.com. Guildgen has a whole lot of builds for various game modes. There is a lot of stuff in here. Another one, if you are specifically talking about raiding, like just end game PvE, snowcrows.com is really good. metabattle.com is got some builds for all game modes. This is it right here. Another one, I don't know if they are updating lately, but in the past, hardstuck.gg was good. Mighty Teapot, as his community, heads up this one. There were a lot of builds on here. My concern is that they all say they were last updated October 2024. I don't know if they've done any recently, but there is still some good information here. But Snowcrows is just endgame PvE. Meta Battle, Hardstuck, and Guild Gen have all game modes, have stuff for all game modes. And then, of course, there is some YouTubers who just make video guides. I have some on there. Mr. Mystic has some. There's some for specific builds, like Lord Hyzen has a bunch for open world. Like, here's how to solo something you're not supposed to be able to solo. And the list goes on and on. Snowcrows has World v World builds. It does? I had no idea. Descretize.eu. Descretize was, like, when I started doing content creation, Descretize was the main one for fractals, and was it like Gods of PvP or Lords of PvP, something like that, was the main one for player versus player. And I'm not sure that those websites have been updated in a long time. If they're still up, then yeah, those two. Question about build sites, are the ones posted on older dates viable? It depends on the build, honestly. Like, for example, someone just a few minutes ago said, Muck, is the Quickness Untamed build that you're playing the same one as the one you posted a video on a year ago? And I said there's a couple of small changes, but yeah, that build still works. On the flip side, the Heal Scourge video I made 2 years ago, Heal Scourge works completely different from that now. So that one, I took down, like, it's like an archived video, but it doesn't work the same way anymore. Yours to miss a meta battle for World v World if you're not running specific Zerg builds, Skooma says. Can beta characters receive mail with items? Anything, probably not. I haven't really looked at that, but beta characters. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna not guess. I'm just gonna go find out right now. I'm guessing no. Oh, this is kind of funny. I gave these away on my birthday. Oh, there's no take button. I can't pull them out of the mail. So there's a duplicate. Okay, so when the beta character was created, it took a snapshot of my mailbox, and it's an uninteractable snapshot of the mailbox. These are things I withdrew from the mail and gave away on my birthday. And this is a snapshot of them. So yeah, the short answer is no. You can't really mess with the mail on beta characters. Ugh. Ooh, we got some armors. That is a good sign. Monk, do character slots ever go on sale? Yeah, I think they do sometimes. It's not something I've been on the lookout for, but if you want a history of that, if you go to the Guild Wars 2 wiki page for character slots, you can see a history of the sales. That works for anything on the wiki, I think. Muck's still related to social media. I work as a social media manager and I use a website that's called Metricool, which uses social media posting less time consuming. Not sure if it will help you, but I thought I'd share it just in case. I appreciate that, but sometimes I have to make small tweaks to things. Like, for example, if I post a YouTube video, like if I'm like, check out my new video, link to video. If I do that on Blue Sky, it automatically puts like a little player there for the video. If I put it on Twitter, it doesn't automatically do the player unless it is below like a certain length. So sometimes I'll put the link and then I'll put the thumbnail. But my point is that there's like slight little adjustments I have to do for each of them. So if I had a website where I just like put my post into the website and then it just copy pasted it to all of them, some of them might be broken. So I'd rather eyeball it myself. Don't you usually get a new character slot every expansion? If you buy the expansions, yes. What's the most pain-free way to get some Iceberg mastery points after I'm done with map and story comp? For mastery points, hit H, go to achievements, click this gear, add mastery filter, and go to Iceberg Saga in your case, and here's a list of every mastery point you haven't picked up that gives an Iceberg Saga mastery point. Pick things on that list you're willing to do. Make sure to get all the ones that are just on the ground that you go pick up. Do those first, those are easy, and then you could just look through the list and see what things seem okay to you. There are filters. There are filters. And pretty much any time I show this, there are people in chat like, ooh! Now, they weren't there 10 years ago, but they have been there for a few years. Make sure to clear the filter when you're done, otherwise this area will look weird if you don't. Since when filter? Couple years. I kind of wish they had one more race for a weirdly specific OCD reason. There's 5 races, and if I make an even amount of professions of each armor type, it ends with 2-2-1. It's infuriating. Okay. You could just make all Asura, and then there's no problem. Hi, Noxxi. Let's see. We got a few minutes here. You know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to pull over the comments section from the new Evoker video, and we're going to see what people said. Let's see. Question as an aside. It seems that when a spec is reviewed, the focus seems to be on whether or not it's capable of providing all boons, minus a lack in quickness. Is this the intended goal, really? Like, does one role need to supply all boons? Or is it the intention that 2 or more can cover all the boons? Like, one provides 4 boons, another provides the rest. If one spec can't provide all the boons, that spec is not optimal and is viewed as a lack. I 100% agree with you that that is the way it should be. Unfortunately, in Guild Wars 2, over the years it has been out, the community has largely optimized how groups should be set up. One healer that gives quickness or alacrity, 1 DPS that gives the other quickness or alacrity, 3 DPS. So if you had 2 people providing half boons, that's less overall DPS for the group, which 99% of the time would still be able to get the job done, but it becomes like a misshapen puzzle piece when trying to group with others that you don't know. But if you group with the same people all the time, it is totally fine to do what you suggested. I just misspelled misshapen. Okay. Alright. That guy came to the same logic that I did like 5 years ago. You only get an extra character slot if you buy Deluxe or Ultimate. The standard doesn't give the one only the boost. Oh, apologies. Anyone recommend a DPS meter? I tried Arc, but the options look different than the guides. Hey Torture, I still have Arc installed. I have it right here, so like this is my DPS meter. It is still there if you want it. I've got a guide for various add-ons right there. Art can be installed with the add-on manager, it can be installed on its own, or it can be installed with Nexus. I don't have a guide for Nexus, but if you Google that, you should be able to find it pretty easily. Let's look to see. Posted some similar feedback about Heal Evoker on the forum thread. Arcane Staff heal build feels really bad. The most success I had was Earth, Water, Dagger, Warhorn, Evoker, and using Prot Aura Share, cycles up to 20 plus Prot with cycling Aura finishers, Blast Water 3, Leap Finish of the Fire Fields, plus Air 3 and Earth 4. This is so complicated. There is might generation and duration issues compared to Fire Overload Jade Sphere. It needs a group stun break stability or Aegis source to better match with Tempest Shouts and Earth Jade Sphere. The adept traits are pretty useless currently for the heal build. It's oversaturated with regen already. I do think the ability to just always go back into water with the Otter is a great benefit. The elite spec is not applying the boons is something I hope gets changed. Which skin or item provides the book floating in front of the character? That's the legendary focus money good post. Yes. Whilst I don't think it's the most interesting Ellie spec, the familiars are adorable, so I am going to have a blast playing this class. Okay. F5 is not a mechanic, it's an APM check. You hit F5 every time it's up no matter what, and don't you dare leave it to wait for even a second. That is true. We're all just going to ignore the fact that Mukluk is playing a non-Asuran. Haha. Yep. It really feels like they have no idea how to make a decent spec for Ellie. I just can't see a reason if I'd ever use the boon build for Evoker when Catalyst and Timbus both do it infinitely better and easier. I don't want to heart that because it was being a bit mean there, but I kind of agree with the second half of what he said. I'm probably the worst Ellie player out there, and even I managed to throw a Condi build together and do 42k damage. Yeah, the DPS builds are fine. Did you see the Condi Evoker? Look at the loop section. What? It just keeps going! What is this? Is this real? What? Bro, that better do a look at the video. Random bullets go. That better do like 150k damage per second if I'm putting in that much work. It's doing 60k. Not worth it. The Amalgam farts 60k. That is insane. Noxxi, why did you show this to me? That did psychic damage. I didn't want that. I did not want that in my life. No, I got kicked out. It's absolutely insane. Yesterday I wanted to try out, dang it, I'm not on the right map anymore, am I? I don't see the armors. I don't think I'm on the right map anymore. No. Dude, I wasn't tabbed out that long. Why did you kick me? South is full. Alright, minus 75. Don't show me IP 75. South 62. Okay. Don't show me 62. 88. Okay, 88 is full. Don't show me 88. 92. Rip, they're all full. Okay, I think South had the most people. Or, sorry, 75 had the shortest queue. Nope, it's got a longer queue now. Crap! Crap, 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 crap. Well, I'm no longer on a viable map. Okay, that sucks. That sucks. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna go back to looking at this other thing. How was Particle Hearts? It was fun. It was a very chill game. It was cozy. We got through about a third of it. It was pretty cool. A lot of people said they were going to get that for certain family members that they thought would like it. WAF is the item code where you have all the vendors and crafting. What? Do you mean the one that takes me here? Mistlock Sanctuary? That's this right here. Hi. Thank you. Mistlock Sanctuary passkey. I've got a video on it, !Mistlock, if you are interested in more on that topic. Alright. What we got? I wrote a 3-page document for ANET why the Evoker is bad from a past PvE and current World v. War player perspective, proposing some solutions. Good job. Feedback is good. What is that inventory? It's fine. Look. It's fine. I can fit your opinion right there. Jesus, leave me alone. Bullies. How about Evoker without water attunement? Earth, Arcane, and Otter. Healing should be alright as with other boons. What? What? How are you going to be a healer without water attunement? What are you talking about? You wouldn't even have Soothing Mist to heal the party. I really feels like they have no idea how to make a decent background. Oh, that was the mean one. I used to enjoy Ellie back in Core and as Tempest, but as time went on, it became less and less fun for me. As you said in the video, most builds have to go through all 4 elements, and I don't want to do that anymore. Selly D was fun in Core, but that got old fast. Ellie Guild Wars 1 was great because you could just pick your skills and focus on 1 or 2 elements, and Evoker looked like it could fulfill that fantasy. Be the Fire Wizard for pure damage, Water pure support, etc., but it's just not there. The fundamental class mechanic and design of Ellie Guild Wars 2 is working against it. I agree with that. IMO, excuse me. IMO, if you go single element, like full spec water and lose the ability to swap, water-based skills should get new abilities like Aegis on Demand stability. That would be a way to solve the issue, yeah. If you're going to implement such a trait, make the trade-off going into singular element be that the element is exceedingly good at what it does to the point of buffing other skills to fill healing, support, or DPS holes. Yeah. The one thing, though, is the weapons. Because, like, let's say the developers, they're like, okay, they're going 1 element for Water Otter, but we need to, like, make the, like, I don't know, the 5-button give Aegis. Then they're like, okay, is 5 on Warhorn overpowered? Is 5 on Dagger overpowered? Is 5 on Staff overpowered? Like, they have to check every weapon to see. Hello there. Hey, Ghost. Fire Staff 5 Meteor Shower doesn't generate Profession energy for the familiar. I'll fix that. I was excited for Evoker, but it's the most boring of the new Elite specs, honestly, out of all the Elite specs. I don't agree, but that's an opinion, not a fact, so I thank them for sharing it. What are your thoughts about Evoker Alack DPS? Have you tried it or think it could work? The Alack requires specializing Water Otter. You'd have to dip into water a lot to maintain it, and potentially some concentration Diviner's gear, so the damage would drop greatly. In theory, it should be viable for power, but Condi Ellies basically need fire and earth lines and water lines that barely apply any Condis outside of pistol. I could see air, water, Evoker, power lag being doable, but I don't know if it would be meta, but some very quick theory crafting would be viable. That's well said. Ellie sucks. What's this guy? The DPS on Evoker is absurd. I was not expecting to be the highest DPS spec in the game. Expect to smack with an Nerf bat. 57k DPS bench is insane. Amalgam got 100k by Snowcrows, people. Everything, yep. At this point, Ellie needs 37 upvotes on this. What is this? At this point, Ellie needs hard work diversifying core traits. It's clearly impacting Ellie's ability to develop new and meaningful elite specs and weapons without doing the exact same thing that Tempest and Catalyst have been balanced to achieve for the last 3 years. It doesn't matter to me if Evoker can hit 60k if I'm not being offered anything meaningful other than fire burns hotter and water regens and cleanses more than it already could. Yeah, kind of agree with it. This reinforces my belief that they made Evoker for players who hate Ellie. I'm honestly just glad they finally gave the class at least a damage option that strays from my usual joke that no matter what Ellie spec you play, I'm always Weaver. So you tried Evoker but didn't try the single element trait, the only notable thing this elite spec has besides the pet. Okay, I guess. Not sure how you can call it a proper elite spec review. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with that. I mean, it looks like 5 other people jumped in there. I mean, it's, yeah, there's... That's such a weird take. That's like saying, like, yeah, I've got all of this, but you didn't try that, so you didn't try it. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff there. Similar to Evoker, but with a pet instead of Jade Sphere, a lot of F5 spam. Yeah. You didn't try it? Yeah. I didn't. I wasn't interested in it. I already have an LI build that sits fire on Tempest from like a year ago. Not only that, you're not doing a proper lead spec review. The video is called I Tried, not Complete Evoker Review. Yeah. That's good. That's good feedback. Not sure how you can call it a proper elite spec review. I called it I Tried, not proper elite spec review. I'm doing it. I like what you said. I'm doing it. There we go. Now you can campfire harder. Yeah, you can campfire harder. Okay. Chat, my wife was kind enough to bring me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch, so I'm gonna eat this while I talk to you. Oh. Maybe you said it in video? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure I always start these videos in the same way. You know what? Hang on. Alright, pass me. What did I say? Hello, Guild Wars 2 gamers. Mukluk here, and today for I tried the Evoker during the Guild Wars 2 Elite Specialized... Yeah, I said it. I did not say, I did a thorough review of the Evoker. Do you have any tips on obtaining a wife? Exclamation wife, or a guide on wife. That's half a joke. Exclamation wife is a video on how I got my wife. I don't know if that'll work for you. The dating game has changed since I was in it. I don't know that it's exactly the same anymore. But... Trying to think of something concrete for you. There's nothing wrong with online dating. I met Anna online. There's nothing wrong with online dating. I would say... Don't fake it. So, okay, so there's two things. One, don't present a false version of yourself, because it will get exhausting to maintain that. Because let's say you're like, you know, on the first date, you pretend to be something you're not. And then your date really likes that. And then you keep doing that, and you're just going to tear yourself apart over time, just trying to maintain this facade. So don't do that. Be yourself, and if they don't like yourself, then they're not for you. However, on the flip side of that, there's another option. And that is, you can change yourself if you want to. But I don't think you should be trying to do that and date people for the first time at the same time, right? You can, like, fake it till you make it. That phrase, that's a real thing. Like, I rewired myself to stop cussing when I got into streaming about a year or so in. If you look at my first year of VODs, not a sailor, but like halfway there. And so I started, you know, trying to rewire myself to not talk like that all the time. Because I just didn't want to. But you can just kind of make yourself do something until it becomes second nature and you get used to it. But I don't think you should be trying to do that while you're also trying to present yourself to someone new at the same time. Let's see. What is this? I'm gonna fake being a billionaire? Yeah, don't do that. I'm pretty sure I've seen movies of that. Dating 50k DPS rotation. Another thing is try to be aware of the current meta. So like if you play a tank, try to date a healer. It makes things work out a lot better. Ha. Olds need to start profiting for their investors, so a lot of intrinsic problems have crept up with, I'll match you with someone, but also you need to give me money. What? Oh, I got one. Hang on. You and the person you're dating do not have to agree on politics. You have the option of simply not discussing politics. My wife and I, we often, if we actually sit down and talk about it, which we almost never do, we don't agree on stuff. However, neither of us is running the country. So it doesn't matter. Shocking, I know. I know many people who have broken up with their significant other because they voted differently. You can just not talk about it. It doesn't affect the world around you. I think that is a stupid reason to end a relationship. Like, if everything else is going... Now, there are reasons to end relationships, for sure. But if everything else is going fine, you can just not talk about that thing. You can have different views on how the country should be run, and that's okay, as long as neither of you are the ones running it. Let's see. Nording says, hey Muck, maybe you have a tip on how I can choose a main class in Guild Wars 2. I'm struggling. I want to have a flexible class that doesn't feel like paper and open world. Can you help me maybe? Nord, my usual tips for people just starting out that want to not have to worry about being class is Necro, Ranger, Warrior, or Guardian. They all are somewhat tanky passively. The Guardian has the virtues, which are very powerful at low levels. The Ranger has a pet that stands in front of them and keeps things off of them. The Necro has some of the highest hit points in the game. So any of those can make the leveling process while you're learning a bit more relaxing. Destrina says it might not matter for you, but politics shows someone's character. I think how they live their life, how they handle the day-to-day, and, you know, how they, you know, just do everything else in their life matters more for their character than about some policy happening states or countries away. Now, again, there are lines, right? Like if the person is like, oh, I approve genocide, obviously that is insane, right? Like, that should not be a thing. But I'm talking about, like, policies and, like, oh, are they Republican? Oh, are they Democrat? Oh, are they Team Red? Oh, are they Team Blue? Like, I am more concerned with, is this person going to be a good mother to my child? Is this person a good father? Is this person good at handling money? And they are not going to make us bankrupt if they have access to my checking account? Is this person living at least a reasonably healthy lifestyle where I don't have to worry about them, you know, having a heart attack, you know, at age 40? You know, stuff like that. That should be, in my opinion, more important than did they vote red or blue last election. Like, I am happily married. We've been together for... I'm going to actually do the math here for a second. 18 years? We've been married 18 years. Our son's 13. And, dude, I trust her with everything. Like, if she has access to all my bank accounts, if she wanted to screw me over, boy, howdy she could. But we are extremely happy together. And now what works for us may not work for everyone. But, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Most people use politics as a presentation card, like this is how I am. And that's a more recent thing, it feels like to me. Because like when I was a kid, if my dad was having a conversation with someone else, like, oh, who did you vote for? Oh, I voted for red. Oh, I voted for blue. Oh, why'd you vote for blue? Well, I really agree with their policy on blah, 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 blah. And they were like, oh, yeah, I could see that. I cared more about this. And they would just have discussions. And now it's like, oh, your team red? And they just go insane. And whereas it used to be a discussion, now it's like, this is your identifier. You know, if you voted for red or blue, like, oh, that's all I need to know about you. You know, that, and it's, to me, it's freaking silly. It's absolutely silly. Early on in the stages of your relationship with her, how was it? How was your guys' communication? Oh, dude, it was great. So it was almost silly. You guys probably laugh about this. So we were dating. And we, at that time period, like instant messenger type communication was really big. So like MSN Instant Messenger or AOL Instant Messenger, stuff like that. And we were constantly chatting on Instant Messenger. And then we'd have the date, and we would both be like shy and awkward at the date. And then afterward, we would talk about like how the date went over Messenger. It was almost like we were different people, and we were harshly judging the versions of ourselves that were on the date. Like, oh my god, did you see when I oh god, so stupid. I was such an idiot. Stuff like that. So it was almost like we were like the critics afterward. It was silly. But yeah, we talked a lot. Yeah, communications is definitely important. And like for any long-term relationship, you don't want to have like you don't want to have like some crazy secret where if the other person found out about it, you're just it's over. Like that's a sign that something's wrong. It was the post-game analysis? Honestly, exactly, yes, it was. Sounds like the start of a joke. Two self-deprecating people walk into a bar. Were you a streamer when you met? God, no. No. I was a World of Warcraft addict and trying to hide it. If so, what did she think about that? No, it wasn't a streamer. If you started streaming career after you met, what did she think about your change of career? Okay, so first off, I started streaming as a hobby when we had already been together. Let's see, I've been streaming 7 years. I've been married 18. We'd been married 11 years when I started trying streaming as a hobby. And she, like, it apparently did wonders for my mood. So if I had a bad day at work and I came home, instead of, like, pampering me or like, oh, sweetie, how's your day? Oh, let me get you something. You know, she would just shove me into the office. You need to stream. She would just put me in a box and close the door. And she's like, oh, he'll be happy when he comes out of there later. So she was fine with it because as long as I wasn't too loud in there, she was fine with it. Now, again, it was a hobby. For a long time, I was making $0 an hour doing this. It was for fun. It was just a fun thing. Later, though, it kind of took off. I started making some money, and boy, howdy, people are a lot more forgiving if you're accidentally loud at 2 in the morning, if you're paying for everything. Imagine that. So, yeah, then it became like an occupation years after that. Starting out, though, something that is kind of funny is I was hooked on World of Warcraft at the time. And I was trying to hide it from her because I was like, oh man, this would ruin the relationship. There's so much stigma around people that are hooked on WoW. And one day, she came over and she's like, what's that game you're always playing in your free time when you're talking to me, like, online? I'm like, oh, it's just a thing. And she's like, no, I want to know more about it. I want to know what you're into. You tell me about it. I'm like, no, you don't. you don't. No. And I was trying so hard to just like sweep it under the rug and hide World of Warcraft from her. And then finally she's like, show me what it is. I'm like, fine. And she ended up actually playing with me for a while. I was main tank. She was one of the healers. It was one of those stereotypes. But we did Tempest Keep, Black Temple, like all the late raids and Burning Crusade. We did those together. We were in a guild with other people. That was not the guild where I was leading like server first stuff, but we were, clearing a lot of raids and stuff like that. The server first thing was years later. But yeah, so she gamed with me for a while. She doesn't do much anymore. She plays some like little phone mobile games, but that's it right now. If you guys ever ran into an argument, how did you deal with it? And how are the emotions between the two of you? There was a bit of advice I heard once. I don't remember if it was from my dad or someone else, but it really stuck with me. And it was, don't go to bed angry. If you've got a problem, try to sit down and at least come to like a neutral point. And maybe you don't like each other after that, but you don't want to go to bed hating each other and sleep on it because it might get worse by the next morning, So the rare times that we had an argument, it was that. Also, on the off chance that you're Kyle and you like to drink Monster Energy to drink, don't punch the drywall. Like, do not be, don't be, and that goes for both sides. Don't be like physical with one another if you're fighting. Like, men, obviously, you're typically a lot stronger. Women, don't be like, what are you doing? And don't like slap. Don't freaking do that. Like, I'm talking to both sides here. Obviously, one side has a lot more to worry about than the other, but I'm talking to both sides. This turned into Muck Love Doctor. Look, I will freely admit, I've been in one long-term relationship, but I have learned a lot in that one long-term relationship. And if you want to ask me questions about it, I do not mind. I hooked my wife on RimWorld. Not sure if War Crime Simulator or MMO is a better addiction. The biggest game my wife had played before she dated me was The Sims, where you like drown people in the pool by uninstalling the ladder. If you're 1 for 1, you have a 100% success rate. Today is my 30th anniversary of my wife, having a nice dinner later. Nice, that's great. I tuned in for Goers who got relationship advice. Someone asked for relationship advice. Ask me anything. Questions welcome. Biggest advice I can give is be selfless. Most people go into a relationship with the mindset of what am I getting out of this? That's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, and it's the little things too. Like, for example, if I walk past the dishwasher and it's not started, I can just start it. I don't go to her and be like, hey, you filled the dishwasher, why didn't you start it? Like, why? Now, obviously, if one person is constantly picking up slack of the other, that relationship's not gonna last. But if both of them are constantly doing that, like, if I walk past a dirty towel and I'm like, oh, I'll just throw this in the hamper, she forgot this. And then she walks past, you know, a plate of mine that I left in the sink and she'll go, oh, he didn't realize the dishwasher's empty, she puts it away. Stuff like that. If you're constantly doing little stuff for each other like that, it makes the house a great place to be. We each have, now granted, at this point in our lives, I'm bringing in the income and she's mostly taking care of the house, but still everybody in the house has chores. My son takes out the garbage. You know, he does that. Like, one of us will do the vacuuming. Typically I fold the towels and the sheets. My wife hates folding sheets. I used to work in a hotel, so I'm a wizard at that one specific thing. So, you know, like, we each have our own tasks that we take care of to keep the house rolling and try to teach our kid that, you know, he's not just a deadbeat, he has to contribute around here too. Wait, what? What? Which wait, what? You know how to fold fitted sheets? Yeah. Was the hotel before or after tech support? Before. When I met her, I was working at a hotel. My first, like, big job, my first real job, was I worked night shift at a hotel. So I was like, if you came in at like midnight and you wanted to check into a room, I was the guy that was there, but I was also kind of the security because I was the only one there, and I also had to do any laundry that was piled up. So I have folded tens of thousands of towels and sheets because that's what you have in a hotel. So I know how to fold those extremely well. That said, keep some time to yourself. You need to take some time for yourself, think about your own happiness as well. Too many things. Oh yeah, for sure. My wife and I are both sometimes hermits. Like, I'm in here now. I'm communicating with you guys, but I'm alone in this room, right? So this is fine for me as like someone who likes being a hermit sometimes. And she has her own office, so sometimes we'll both just like go to separate rooms and just enjoy our hobbies and ignore each other for, you know, half a day. That's fine, you know. You need that sometimes. What is this, the job where you found 2 people in the gym having funny time? Yes, that was at the hotel. The hotel had a small gym, yes. Weird thing to bring up now, but yeah. Where's the guide on folded fitted sheets? Get to the point, get to the point, fitted sheets. I recently read on Facebook, if you're single for a long time, sign up for a dating app. You'll be single after, but you'll appreciate it. Oh gosh. Mike, don't ignore the wizard hat someone redeemed.
We're talking here. We're talking here.
Gosh. Alright. Got a new wife in chat right now.
Put on a hat!
Where was the hotel? It was I mean, I don't work there I haven't worked there in years, so I can just tell you. The hotel was called Candlewood Suites. And it was an extended stay hotel. Like, the rooms had little kitchen units in the rooms. Most people that checked into them were there for weeks or months at a time on like business trips and stuff like that. But that was the hotel chain I worked at. The one I worked in was in Georgia. Did they reopen drops again? They did. Yeah, they did it a 3rd time, I think, to sync up with the beta since they had to move the beta. How does Miss Mug feel with you answering this kind of question to 1,000 people on the internet? she doesn't care. So, I mean, happy wife, happy life, right? Obviously, if there's something I know would bother her, I'm not going to talk to you about it. Like when someone asks me about my income from streaming, that's questions come up before. I wouldn't care talking about that. To me, numbers is numbers, whatever. However, she is not comfortable with that, so she has asked me not to do that. Now, I can give you loose things, like I can say, yeah, man, I make as much on Patreon as I make from YouTube, which is a fact. But I'm not like giving you the number because it would make my wife uncomfortable. So like the dating thing, no, I mean, based on what I haven't told you anything like inappropriate, so she doesn't care. If I were to, I mean, yeah, I could absolutely tell you some inappropriate stuff. I'm not going to. I complete the drops 2 times, now this will be the 3rd time. If I get the same outfit again, what happens? Then you'll have an extra ritualist outfit in your inventory that you can't do anything with. That's it. Let's see. Need a guide for fitted sheets ASAP. Can I gift the drop outfit? Not that I know of. I think it just arrives in your mail. It's not like when you gift something from the gem store. By the way, to everybody that won giveaways last night, you should have already received everything. I sent those out like 1 a.m. I've already got 3 red outfits. Nice. Imagine buying the red outfit and then you find out later that they give it away 3 times in a row. You're like, oh, come on. What do you mean? You make as much on Patreon as YouTube. That's actually pretty interesting for someone who has no idea how entertainment on the internet works on the monetary side. Yeah, so like, I would say, okay, so Twitch is my largest source of income every month. Some months even more than others. For example, this month we had a birthday stream. The birthday stream was, if we're talking money, it was as successful as 20 bad days. 20 days where there's no one resubbed that day, stuff like that. You know, it was as successful as like 20 of those. So Twitch make way more. YouTube's a roller coaster because I'm not a YouTuber that makes like clickbait videos. I make videos about something I'm interested in, things like that. I try to run just like 1 or 2 ads per video, not like 50 like some do. Like there's ways to jack it up, but I don't like them. So YouTube, I make an amount that some months I break even because keep in mind I pay Noxxi to edit the videos. So some months I pay Noxxi exactly what I make from YouTube and I don't make anything else on top of that. But that's only possible for me to do because I also have the Patreon income. If it wasn't for the addition of the Patreon, I would not be able to afford working with Noxxi, which means I wouldn't have an editor, which means I'd have to edit my own videos, which means I probably wouldn't do morning streams, and I would just do videos in the morning and streams in the evening or something like that. So the Patreon really kind of allows everything else to work. YouTube money is Noxxi money? Pretty much. With Twitch banning a lot of bot views, do you think ad revenue will rise a bit? I don't know. I mean, you guys can see my stats. Like right now we have 1,000 viewers. That's much higher than normal because of drops. However, my stats haven't really been affected. I get maybe, like the Mukluk Labs website, my stream is embedded on there. That's the only place it is right now. But because this website is rather low traffic, I get, you know, maybe 10 views a day from the website. And that's fine, you know, it's fine. It's again, the Patreon is another excuse for me to be able to keep the website completely ad-free. So it has the embed and then that's it. But if they take away the counted views from the embed, I don't even care. It doesn't really affect me. It's whatever. I know that there were some stats for saying that the overall viewership on the total Twitch website was down by as much as 22% with all those view bots getting hit. Why you do not pay percent from videos? I'm sorry? What does that mean? Wait, are you asking me, do I pay my editor a percentage of what the videos make? If that's what you mean, Noxxi would make less money if I did that. So let me give you an example. One, Noxxi, like I post a lot of videos that Noxxi has nothing to do with. So let me go here. And this news video, Noxxi wasn't involved in this. 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 All right, there's quite a few here I just make while Noxxi's working on something else. Okay, so I don't want to just give her a cut of my entire channel because that wouldn't be accurate, because there's a lot of stuff here she's not involved in. All right, so second thing is you're like, why don't you just give her a percentage of videos? Okay, this video, she spent a couple of days working on this. This is something I asked her to do. It was something that I really liked and it was enjoyable for me. However, it's earned $4.98. If instead of paying her for 3 days pay, I paid her a percentage of what this video was making, she would not be able to eat food. There are some times that I have ideas that are not successful. I pay her whether they work or not. So Noxxi gets paid based on how much time she spends editing, not whether my idea was successful or not. Because sometimes my ideas just aren't popular. Sometimes they do fantastic. Sometimes they do really good, and I make more money than I paid her to edit the video, and other times I make less. So that's how it is. Now, to be clear though, I didn't pick the contract. Noxxi did. I am one of Noxxi's multiple clients, but I am her primary one. I pay her to edit the video. And basically, what Noxxi does with me is I pay her a flat amount each month, and then Noxxi spends X hours, 5 days a week, editing for me. And so, like, if there's ever a time I don't give her something to edit, she has nothing to do, then I'm paying her just to sit there and twiddle her thumbs. So it's in my best interest to keep sending her projects. So, because of the way that we have it set up, she makes a reliable amount that she can depend on every month, but for me, it's this. How much made that breathing video? I wasn't expecting that. I didn't ask her to cut all my into a video and, you know, mix it with other stuff. That was her. That was nice. You're a good person? I try to be. Like, real talk, if my YouTube channel just suddenly, consistently started bringing in double the money, I would just double Noxxi's pay. I am fine. Noxxi's okay, but, you know, of course, a little bit extra makes anyone's life easier, and I'm alright right now. What was your best video of 2025? Oh, wait, no, you're saying the breathing video was the best of 2025? Oh, man, I don't know about that. Why am I getting drops again? They restarted them because they aren't lined up with the beta event. If we paid Noxxi, she'd panic again. Yeah, because we almost pushed her into that new tax bracket. In Germany, we currently have a controversy with streamers not paying their editors well. It's really refreshing to hear you being fair on your editor. I try to be. I will say, in complete honesty, Noxxi gives me a good deal. And part of it is that Noxxi's in Hungary, and I'm in America. And the exchange rate between us is like, I give her something that's fair for me, and it's more than fair for them because of the America to Hungary, what is it called? Currency exchange. However, you know, since working with Noxxi, I've given Noxxi like 6 raises. Like 1 that she asked for, and then like 5 where I was just like, yo, I'm making more, I can afford to give you more here. And she's like, okay. So, yeah, we do what we can. Currency exchange is different, yeah. Out of curiosity, do you know which other content creators work with Noxxi? Can they talk about that? So it's like this. Anyone, like Noxxi has a website, and like anyone can go to, hold on, do I still have a command for it? I'm gonna test something. I haven't used this in a long time. Exclamation Nox? Okay, I guess I don't have a command that's active for that. Noxxi has or had a website where you could go and hire them for editing. And Noxxi's website, anyone could go there and put in like, hey, I need you for this job. Do any of you know Zizaran? He's one of the biggest Path of Exile streamers, if not the biggest. He had Noxxi do some intros for him, for his videos. And that was a one-off job that Noxxi did that paid really well. ZZran, yeah. So it's just occasional other people will, you guys, I found out Noxxi existed because of the tournament videos she did for Mighty Teapot and for Guild MM. So, like, she's done, you know, a lot of work with them, but, you know, basically I'm giving her, like, consistent work, but then she occasionally does, like, one-off jobs for anybody that wants them. Like, if any of you had an editing job that you wanted to pay Noxxi for, you could. It's not like Noxxi's my employee. It's I'm Noxxi's client, and she could take more whenever she feels like it. Is it a rerun of the same drops? Yes. They restarted the drops a third time because I assume because they're not synced up with the beta event right now, and they wanted them to be. Did they mess it up? No, they didn't mess anything up. Well, they messed up the beta, and then the drops weren't lined up with the beta, and I guess they wanted them to be. Will Ritualist be good? As a support, yes. As a DPS, it needs more work. And also, personal note, I would like for it to not shatter its spirits, but I don't know if they're going to change that. Skooma says, I'm guessing most of your income should be paid through companies paying you to play their game or stuff like that. I can't imagine the other sources would give more money than that. If it's too much info, just tell me to shut up. That's okay. I'm just too curious about everything. You're totally fine. If there's something I'm not comfortable talking with, I'll just tell you. You know, like an adult. Okay, we did a sponsored stream last night. The amount of money I got from that sponsored stream is the same as a bad month of YouTube. But a month. And I had to do 2 hours of work last night. Sponsored streams are huge. There are some months I get no sponsored streams. There's some months I get 2 or 3. They are incredibly helpful, which is why I always pay it forward, because it only works when you guys are here. I always take a chunk of it and I do $100 giveaways for you guys, which we did last night. So I don't want to say the exact numbers, but that's not the highest source of my... Twitch is definitely the highest source of my income. Because again, there are some months I get no sponsors. And there's some months I get 2 or 3, and that's great. But Twitch is absolutely my highest source of income. Patreon and YouTube are near tied, but they're a bit lower. And then sponsorships, when they happen, are great, but some months they don't. So it's very much a job. Like, I'm doing fine right now. But content creation, if any of you want to get into it, it's very much a job where there are months that are good and there are months that are bad. And you need to save on the good months so that you're not stressed on the bad months. Because your income can go like this. Even if, now this would be impossible, but let's say every single month you got the exact same number of views on your YouTube channel. Let's say you got 1 million views every single month on YouTube, completely static, unchanging. Your money would still change every month because of CPMs. CPMs is like a cost per mille. Basically, it's ad revenue. Ad revenue leading up to Christmas gets really high. You can be doing the same thing you're always doing and it gets really high. But then right after Christmas, it tanks. So January, February, March, ad revenue from YouTube is in the gutter. It's way lower. Twitch also, but ad revenue everywhere gets way lower. And that just happens constantly. So, I mean, you could have a terrible video release right before Christmas and then a banger video release on February and they make close to the same. That can happen. Even though the views are completely different. It can happen. My strategy has mostly been evergreen stuff. I feel like I am terrible at making a video that just gets 1 million clicks in a day. I haven't figured out how to do that. Like, not like Mr. Beast. But I have been able to make a lot of videos that kind of stay relevant and people continue to click on them a little bit each month for years. So that's been my strategy, is just been making as many of those as I possibly can. Like, anytime I find a topic where, you know, people might Google this in a year or two, I try to make a video on that and it continues to, you know, just churn. It continues to just go. I saw the Mislock Sanctuary passkey for sale in the gym shop, but I don't know how long it's on for sale. Anyone know? I do not know. I'm not sure when the sale started. My content creation is a lot more like farming than I thought. Kind of. It kind of is. That's what I was expecting. Companies seem to have a ton of money to throw around for sponsorships. That's with any business, really. Well, the high and low thing can be with any business, but it's not going to be with any employee, right? Like, when I was in tech support, if I worked 40 hours a week, I made the same amount of money every single month. The business might have had ups and downs. I didn't. But when I'm here and I'm self-employed, it's this. Now, fortunately, I'm completely fine because my wife and I are good with money. So even on the bad months, we saved up on the good months, we're fine. But yeah, like when I was, you know, if you work at Wendy's and you work 40 hours a week, you know how much you're getting on your paycheck. That's reliable. This is a profession where it is more volatile than that. It's different. I heard that ad revenue also changes depending on the country the viewer is from. With that information, my viewing is probably like giving you a pebble that they found on the beach. Not even a pretty one, just the first one they found. Yeah. Also, Twitch kind of has that too. Like, Twitch, if you are in different... If your audience is... Like, you guys, if you guys are in different countries, it can cost different amounts of money to do a subscription. It used to just be 5 USD. Now it's like, I think it's 6 USD or something, but then also some countries it's much cheaper because the exchange rate is terrible for them. So like if you're in Brazil, it's a lot cheaper than 5 USD because 5 USD is stupid in Brazil. That'd be like, yeah, them spending a lot more money than it would be fair. Your wife works as well? Not at the moment. She did. The past couple of years, she has basically been helping me with small jobs for content creation, and she just kind of maintains the household. And she chose to do that when she was really unhappy with her job, and I presented it as an option, and she chose to do that. What is happening in the game? What script was that? I've never seen before. Oh, I think that's a catalyst, and they're using their 3 skill, which makes their hammer fly around them.
1 month streak, true commitment.
And they're using a legendary hammer, so we're seeing that hammer spin around instead of... Yeah, it's a catalyst. Medicus, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. I work 8 hours a day at the local hospital lab. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I do love what I do. It still feels like work, but it's a lot easier. So, for example, I work roughly 55... I stream 55 hours a week now. And I make YouTube stuff outside of that. So I easily do 60-hour work weeks, but I'm from home, so there's no commute. There's no time spent on the road. And I can easily just stop and immediately spend time with the family and stuff like that. I used to work 40 hours in tech support, and now I work 60 hours doing this, and I would much rather do this. Even if some months I get paid less, I'd rather do this, because it's fun. It's like fun, and, you know, it pays the bills at the same time. Tomax says, I'm in a country where Twitch almost never shows ads, even without subs. I get like 1 ad per month at worst. Oh, that's cool. I'm in Brazil, 5 USD is like 30 of our currency, yeah. It's still work, but more fulfilling. Yep. Not having to deal with people is always fun. Yeah. My guy, 40 hours of tech support is like working in dog years. Dog years, yes. Yes, it is. Life goes on to grow up and be like Muck, the talking wizard potato. Oh, boy. How does that work with the free Prime subs? Do you always get the same amount? Because over here, you can get a year of Prime for like $10. It used to always be the same amount. It used to be if someone did a Prime sub, it used to be if someone paid $5 cash for a sub, US dollars, I'd get $2.50. Then Prime is they use their Prime, I get $2.50. Okay? So they're basically taking $2.50 from Twitch and giving it to me. Then they did the whole thing with regional pricing, which I do think was good because it was very unfair for some people in some regions. Now that means if a lot of your audience is in America, you're an American streamer, your income would stay the same. But if you're an American streamer and like a lot of your audience is in like Brazil or something, it might feel like your income went down a bit because of the regional pricing kicking in. And I believe they do separate pricing for primes depending on where they're from, which is fine, but yeah, that's the thing. Hi from Alaska. Hello from the colonies. Hey Muck, hope you're doing great. Question about ANET partnership. Sure. Is it hard to get? I have a Spanish project running around 2 months, including raids, fractal strikes, and metatrains. Do you think that's a good place to start with ANET partnership? One, it doesn't hurt to apply. I had to apply twice. Now, I was a much smaller streamer. Like, a lot of... If you hear me say it's easy to get in now, you might be like, oh, well, I mean, you're one of the big streamers. No. When I was like 20 or 30,000 followers, and I'm now at 99, is when I got in. I got in when I was a much smaller streamer, and I've grown as a channel since then. I will say, they seem to be trying to branch out. I do not know the criteria for why they are choosing some people and not choosing others, but they have... Oh my god, Refer, thank you, that was loud. They have allowed a lot of people into the partner program recently. Like, I've seen a lot of new names in there. I'm sure you guys have seen some of them streaming, but some of them are streamers, some of them are YouTubers, some of those are in the partner program, some of them are refugees from other MMOs. Maybe they're trying to tap into the, you know, the audience from other MMOs or something. I'm not sure, but they have gotten a lot of additional people in the partner program recently. So if you want to apply, I would apply. Like, they told me no the first time, and I got in the second time. The worst they can say is no. Another thing, the Twitch partner program, I had to apply 9 times, chat. They told me no 8 times, and you had to wait a month in between attempts. So it was like 9 months of me trying to get in and bothering them before I got in. Mug, can you check out Blue Protocol, Blue Resonance? What is that, like another game? I mean, I don't, if I check that out right now, a lot of people are going to start recommending me games to look at. I don't want to do that right this second. Just kind of answering questions and hanging out here at the moment. If my bad. No, it's totally fine. If you want to DM me, I'll check it out later. I just don't wish to right now. Thank you for the response. Sure. It's kind of crazy how many MMO refugees GW2 has lately. Well, my understanding, and I had FF14 players trying to explain this to me the other day, is FF14. Many people who played FF14 feel wronged by the devs. So a lot of them are trying other things, which leads to Guild Wars 2 getting a wave of new people out of nowhere. What is the benefit to being an ANET partner? I can't talk about all of them. I can only tell you the ones that are publicly known. 1, I occasionally get gem codes to give you guys. I gave out 30 of them on my birthday. 1, I can server swap. You guys know that when I play in the mornings, I'm on EU, and I play in the evenings, I'm on NA, and I just hang out with the community, so I can server swap at will. Another is I occasionally am given community chest codes to give away. We've done that many times. What else is publicly known? Spectating in PvP matches. If I go into a PvP match, I can just be a flying camera and fly around and just spectate it. Like, oh, on the Revenant's going for the home node, oh, he's stopped by the Guardian, or whatever. If I want to be like an announcer, I could do that. I've joked around with it before, but there's a few little things like that. They've also just been nice to me. Like, so there's some small things. Like, there's the whole thing in Seattle where this Friday I'm going to Seattle for the community event, and there's limited people can be in the building at a time, but anyone that's like a partner, they're making sure that they can get in because, big fish, small pond. Muck gives me nothing, and I still keep coming back for more. You're welcome, Medicus. I'll give you nothing anytime you want. Watching from the Dominican Republic, I see a commercial break screen for like 2 minutes, and that's as far as ads go. You should totally try to get a sponsor stream for Monsters Are Coming. I desperately need to see more of that game. I don't know that one. Thanks for the Riftbreaker recommendation. I got it on sale today. Oh, dude, they just had their 2.0 patch, the biggest patch the game's ever had. It's got so much stuff. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed as much as I have. Julio says it's fun unless it's a patch beta day and people ask the same question 25 times in 1 hour. Nah, at that point, it's just parenting. More than parenting. I said to Muck like 2 years ago, signed a contract, and now I cannot seem to break the terms. I don't read the fine print. Can't wait to see you there. Yeah! Silver Knight Requiem. You're gonna need a name tag that says, hi, my name is Silver Knight Requiem, so I know who people are. How is Revenant? It's good. There's really no base class that's bad, so my answer is gonna be it's good for any of them. FF14 is going through Guild Wars 2 players went through after End of Dragons, where it takes forever for stuff to release, and the stuff they do release is kind of eh. Gotcha. Yeah, there was the whole thing about them killing some add-ons and stuff. Is Ranger your main? Yes, I've dabbled in all the classes, but Ranger's my main. What skills or weapon is best? It depends on what you're going for. If you want a PvP, if you want a World v World, if you want to kill people with conditions like poisons and bleeds, or if you want to kill people with just impact damage like a longbow or a giant hammer, or if you want to be a healer like a druid and mend wounds instead of focusing on doing damage, like there's many different ways to play the Ranger. As with all classes, there's many ways to do it. Do you think Power Herald will ever get a buff? Herald is a fantastic class. I don't know that it needs a buff, but I haven't played it recently, and maybe you know something I don't. Mug, if I were to use Twitch Turbo instead of subbing to you, will you benefit the same from my viewership or less? Curious how that works. It's very similar. Basically, if Twitch plays an ad on my channel, and you don't see the ad because you have Turbo, I still get a penny as if you had seen an ad. So it does still, maybe slightly less than a sub, but it does still support the creator that you're watching while you have Turbo. Let's see. Is Heal Druid still good in meta? Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of other options if you don't like playing Heal Druid, but yeah, Heal Druid still works. Will your Mukluk commercial ever be a Twitch ad? I don't think so. The commercials I've made don't make sense to anybody outside the community. Like, I've got the one for the lab. It's like the new Guild Wars 2 resource. People not Guild Wars 2 players be like, what? And then we've got, like, the one for the plushie, and people that don't know what an Asura is would be like, what? Yeah. And now I gotta make one for the new little guy. For anyone who didn't see him, I got the prototype back yesterday. I have to turn off the green screen for this. This is number 2. Now he's got an adjustable hood, and he's got a potion bottle, and the potion bottle is Velcro. It comes out of his hand, and this little dude is based off of the channel logo. But this is the prototype, and I'm really happy with how it came out. He can stand up like that, like a little Reaper or something. I'm really happy with how he came out, but I need to come up with a commercial for him, just something playful to let the YouTube audience know, and then that'll be for sale very soon for a couple of weeks. That was my latest fun project to do. While I'm waiting on ArenaNet to give me permission to make more Guild Wars 2 stuff. Very smug. Yeah, he's very smug. Any spec you would recommend to an untamed enjoyer looking for some change? I mean, I greatly enjoy playing Heal Untamed and like metas and stuff like that, but it's missing stability for high-end content. And Quickness Untamed is very fun when you are just on your own in the world, as you give yourself a ton of boons while you're playing it. If you want to play something just completely different, I mean, I don't know if you would agree with this, but some other stuff I've really enjoyed in the past is Scourge, Scrapper, Mechanist. Those are some of my personal favorites. If I could buy it, I would in a heartbeat. Hey, no pressure, no pressure. I know anytime I make a product like this, I know that there's like it's a niche part of the community that is going to actually buy plushies, but it's really exciting, you know, to kind of design something and have a company make it and then hold it. It's really neat. Amok, what game is your favorite has bad keyboard and mouse controls? I don't know if it's my favorite, but I immediately think of Elden Ring. I played Elden Ring on keyboard and mouse, and it was a wonderful world. Those controls were ass. Those were terrible controls. Those are awful. Oh man, like, only in terms of controls, they could really learn from like Lies of P, or even better would be First Berserker Kazan. Those were Souls-likes that had amazing KBM controls. Like I think First Berserker Kazan, both because of how fluid it was and also the controls, like it's a fast Souls-like. That might be my favorite one now. For Souls-likes, I mean. Which Legi backpack do you recommend I go for? You've got 4 options. Ad Infinitum from Fractals, the Ascension from PvP, Warbringer from World v World, or the Orax from Open World. So Orax, you can solo and work on that on your own time. The PvP one, you do have to play PvP on multiple different classes, which is annoying for some people, myself included. And you have to play a lot of games. You don't have to win them to get it, but winning gets it faster, because you need tickets, and you get tickets faster when you win than when you lose. World v World, it just takes a lot of time. And Ad Infinitum, the Fractals, if you've never done Fractals, it'll take a long time. If you're already like T4 Fractal capable, not as long. When I found out Ad Infinitum existed, I looked in my bank, and I had 90% of the materials. And it was because I had already been doing Fractals for a while, and I didn't know there was a backpack. Will the Mukluk plush be the same price as the Asura one? Yes, which I believe was 30 USD with $8 for worldwide shipping. It will be the exact same price. I actually asked them, there was one feature I asked them if they could do, because like one thing I requested was the Velcro on the hand, and they're like, sure, we can do that. And then I also asked them, I was like, can we make the red around the eyes and the mouth be glow in the dark? And they said, we can do glow in the dark thread, but then for whatever reason, they said we don't have red. And I was like, and they're like, we could do a different color, but then also it'll increase the price per plushie by $5. I was like, okay, don't. I was like, I don't want you to increase the price if it, like, I would have thought about it if it was the right color, but I don't want to change the main design of the character it's based on and then also increase the price tag. So don't do that. Now I know for future stuff that Velcro is an option. It's like, hey, how cool would it be to have like a little Elementalist plushie and he has a revive icon. You can just Velcro to his forehead. Like, that's another idea I want to do, but I need ArenaNet to freaking give me permission. I've been waiting 2 months for a contract. So, so many little things I would love to do. But we wait. I would not want to wake up in the middle of the night and have that thing smile at me, Muck. Yeah, you would. Did they say what color they have available for it? I could ask them. I'm in their DMs at this point. I would have to ask, though. I just remember they said that they couldn't do red. Hang on, you got me thinking about it. Let me see if I can go back to that conversation. Where is it? Oh, here we go. He says, this is last year's product catalog. Where is it? Okay, here we go. I can't show you guys the URL for this, because this is like behind the scenes stuff. Hang on a sec, I'm gonna crop this. Okay, so this is from something they showed me. These are the colors they had prepared for glow in the dark. At their company. Obviously, different companies are different. But that was what they had. And so I said, okay, never mind. Because it would increase the price of production. And 2, it wasn't what I was looking for. So it wasn't going to increase the price for something I didn't even want. How about red LEDs? Red LEDs? Just like the Five Nights at Freddy robots, just in case they go evil. Put those red LEDs in their eyes. No, that's what we got. Now I'm thinking about this, I've never seen red glow in the dark in general. Yeah, I don't know anything about, like, the limitations behind glow in the dark threads, but... I need a plush for my Ellie, but it needs my wings. Yeah, one thing, I really love the idea of having an Elementalist plushie with a revive icon you can Velcro on and off the head, but I don't know who the Elementalist would be. Like, who's a famous Elementalist in the game? I mean, Zoja, I guess? But it's not really for her being an Elementalist that she is famous. It's for her being a Golemancer that she's famous, and now a wizard. So I don't know, like, even what race an Elementalist plushie would be. Laura? Laura plays so many classes. Is she an Elementalist? Honestly, that would be kind of funny, is if I did if I did some of other content creators and get one of Laura and just, like, give her half the profit or something, and then have the revive icon. That would be funny. Calf Dad. Oh, does he play? Oh, yeah, you know what? He does. Now that I'm thinking about it, he does. He has a lot of videos on Ellie. Sin. That would be good. Sin from Guild Wars 1, like the first Elementalist. Hang on a second. Yeah, she was the lady on the box cover. Don't want a human plushie. Even if it was Laura, we could do Laura's son. Wooden Potatoes. Wooden Potatoes has played a lot of Ellie in the past. I don't know what his character looks like. I haven't seen his character in ages. Vec as well. I think Sin is more recognizable than Vec. Laura with the water bottle. Why does she have an emote of her with a water bottle? She looks like she's just like, I love the bottle. Will you do another wave of plushies already sold at some point? I love the 2 that you have, but the money is not my strong point. I would love to. So here's the thing. Any that involve Guild Wars 2, I need their written permission to do it. Makeship is totally fine with okay, so Makeship's policy is they can re-release a plushie that was already had a run at least 1 year later. They're okay with that. So, like, the Minion one that I just showed you the prototype for, we're about to do a run on that. I could do another run on that in a year. However, the Asura one that I made, to do another run on that, I have to wait a year and get ArenaNet's permission again. The second thing, besides that, is the 200 minimum. They'll basically, when they open, when Makeship says, okay, this plushie is for sale, 200 people have to, at least 200 people have to order it, and then they'll go, okay, we're doing it. And then they'll mass produce it and ship them out. If less than 200 people order it before whatever the deadline is, then they're like, okay, this isn't going to cover the cost of production, and they refund everybody, and they just stop. and then the prototype is the only one that ever exists. So, as long as we don't have problems hitting the 200, the main issue with Guild Wars plushies is Guild Wars themselves. Is just, you know, the paperwork. That's kind of where we're at. But I'm glad you guys are so hyped for it, because this has been a really fun side project. Laura would probably be okay with it. I think she probably would. But again, it's another fun idea, but I need to get permission. All right. Cool. With that, I think I've caught up on all the questions. With that, you guys, I am out of time. It is 2 p.m., the time we normally end the morning streams. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you guys enjoyed the gaming and the conversation. Usual plugs. If you're new here, please hit the follow button on Twitch. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Here's the links to the YouTube channels if you're not already subbed to both my channels. And a special thank you to our dear patrons. They keep this channel alive with their support. And I got to add a new name to that list because we had a new one in the middle of the show. Since we have some people that are here just to get those sweet, sweet drops, I will raid someone else in the Guild Wars 2 category. Let me see who is live. If Laura was live, I'd raid her. Who are we going to raid? Who are we gonna raid? Dang, it's really cool seeing so many people streaming this game that I don't know. When I started streaming this on any given day, you know, all those years ago, there would be like Mighty Teapot, Wooden Potatoes, and then like 3 other people. And then that's it. And now there's this huge scroll bar. I think so far I've seen 2 names I recognize that don't care for me. And I've seen one, I think Plenix. And the rest of these, I do not know. I do not know. All right, I guess I'll play it safe. We'll get Plenix. Plenix is good people. All right, I'll raid him. So I will see you guys over there. If you enjoy Plen's content, be sure to hit the follow button. If you don't, then just leave quietly. It's okay. We like different things. You do you. I'll see you guys over there. Have a good rest of your day. I will be back tonight in about 5 hours for the evening stream, and we'll have a modest giveaway. We went pretty broke doing giveaways on the birthday stream, but I can get some stuff together. All right. See ya. Sand. Behave.